about. A lot of stuff is going on. God, where to begin? One man dies, another man lives. Gets to continue on. Both men lie. Both men tell fibs. Who is at fault? We as the viewing public. Both of them gave us entertainment. Both of them gave us things to look forward to. Places to see, people to be. They strived us to be better. One used MS Paint. The other used the artistry inside of a wrestling ring. I'm, of course, talking about Hulk Hogan and Pirate Software. Both known for their controversies, probably a little bit different than one another. I'm pretty sure one of them was known for being an abhorrent racist, and the other one lied about World of Warcraft. But they stand in equal measure in certain terms. Hold on. Delicious. So first things first, Hulk Hogan. Now, I'm one of those weirdos that's a huge wrestling fan. Bit of a freak, you could call me. I've been called worse. Homo, queer. Those are just the things I tell myself on Saturday night. But Hulk did a lot of things. He body slammed Andre the Giant. He credits himself as the creator of, wrestling merchandising. He said he was the first one to come up with wrestling entrance musics. He said he was the first one to ever do the leg drop as a finishing move. He said he was the first one to actually lift Andre the Giant and slam him. He said things like, oh, my years are longer than normal human years because I go to Japan to wrestle and come back to America so much that I pass the international date line so often that my days are longer than normal human days. And maybe that's what caught up to him. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was all those extra days he added to his life. He died at the young age of 60 to 70. I actually really don't know, nor do I care. But in all honesty, with all that travel, according to Hulk Hogan's mathematical logic, he was at least 97. So maybe that's what did it. Maybe that's what did him in. I'm going to take another sip. Hold on. Delicious. Oh, let's see. Well, I can't watch anything WWE because this will be taken down immediately. The Quartering. Hulk Hogan has died. Cause of death revealed. Is this guy just a drama tuber now? Or was he always? I didn't even know Hulk Hogan had a YouTube channel. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Chill. What? No, stop. Come on. You know, Hulk Hogan could actually get away with pretending to be a Madame Tussauds wax figure because he is. He literally looks like he's made of hot dog meat.
I'm getting ready to tear Madame Tussauds down today because...
Does he always have to do this shtick, by the way? Like, I've never seen this guy not turned on by Hulk Hogan. That was a weird sentence, but also pretty accurate to his lifestyle. I've never seen this guy not geared into Hulk Hogan mode. That's just a wrestling thing, I think, especially with old school guys. You know, that kayfabe, don't break the character, brother. I mean, he broke the character all the time, but not in this instance, and not any time a camera was pointed at him. Especially not when Brooke Hogan was around.
These other wax figures, they're all gonna faint when they see my new wax figure.
Okay, I can't tell. Nope, that's okay. He got me already. I was fooled by the waxy figure of Hulk Hogan. It's just actually Hulk Hogan.
Man, that looks realistic.
What the?
Oh my God.
Dude, he was already moving. Stop. Come on. How stupid can you be? Look, watch. He's already moving, dude. I mean, look, his nipples are hard. What, the wax figure got cold? Come on, man.
No, you're thinking of...
No.
Oh, let me know if this ever gets cringy. These people walked up to Hulk Hogan and were literally talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger in front of him.
Well, he was governor, you know.
No, you're thinking of...
No, up in the...
That was that phony Jesse Ventura.
They walked up to the Hulk Hogan, what they thought was the wax figure, and they were like, "Oh, this guy was he was governor, wasn't he?" No, buddy boy, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse the Body Ventura. The fans in Hulk Hogan's video on Hulk Hogan's YouTube channel didn't even know Hulk Hogan. It looks like he's like standing in front of Lightning McQueen. Why did they put him in the corner that's obviously made for like the Dale Earnhardt Jr. figurine?
That was that phony Jesse. Ventura.
Sorry, I had to move my cat. You guys want to see my cat? Where's my cat? Here we go. Here's my cat. Meow. Purr, purr. I'm not one of those twink VTubers that can make good cat sounds. I'm sorry. Purr, purr. Okay, anyway. A group of wax figures react to Hulk Hogan, the not wax figure. That's not a weight thing. They're all very pretty ladies. I'm just saying anyone that exists in Florida has the skin of a turtled whale.
I'm surprised if it was actually the wax figure, like Hulk Hogan, the wax figure just came to life and was just...
Yeah, I wouldn't be like half of the celebrities that have wax figures. The wax figures always look bad, but like they have the same complexion. And it's just upsetting.
Yo, maniacs, Hulk Hogan here, greatest of all times. What you gonna do when Madame Tussauds and Hulk Hogan's beat shop run wild on you, brother?
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hold on one sec, guys. I'm going to change the description on this. Forgot to actually add a description. All right, after this, a little more Hulk Hogan. Pirate software. I might play this scary Korean classroom horror game, which does not narrow it down at all. Literally every Korean horror game somehow takes place in a multi-gendered classroom. Let's see, hashtag horror. Got to get that good SEO, boys. Hashtag gaming. Hashtag pirate. Hashtag funny. Pirate. I can't type on this new keyboard. I got like a nice RGB keyboard that makes the clickies, but I cannot type on it. Me. Hulk Hogan. Irons on my Hulk Hogan. Horror games. JCS. True crime. Oh my god, I forgot how to do emojis on Windows. No! Emoji. Shortcut. Windows. I'm so Mac coded. Okay, Windows key plus. Bear with me. Bear with me. I just did it. What the fuck? Is that not it? Oh, Windows key plus period. Why did they do it like that? There you go. Scary. Let's do red. Boop. Cool. And backward. Ming. 69 row. What other crap does he have on this stupid channel? Last upload 2 years ago, Hulk Hogan challenges Bob Backlund full match. God, he titles this like indie wrestling companies. Hulk Hogan versus Nick Hogan hand grip strengthener. Oh, I gotta see this.
I didn't see anyone.
You got 50? You got 50?
Everybody hit the top of the forearms. 40. I didn't see anyone hit the top of the forearms today.
50. Damn.
All right, give me this. 60. He's using his right hand.
You can see his heart giving out right now in real time.
I was just sitting with my...
Look how much White Claw this guy has. That's insane. This is obviously his garage. He's got that P90X style workout machine. He's got a scale. And he's got at least 16 cases of White Claw Surge. Hulk Hogan rolls deep, man. He's a seltzer kind of guy. He's in Florida, brother. He rolls deep with the seltzer. I'm going to put my cat down. Bye, kitty. All right.
Come on, keep going. Don't... I have to beat that out.
80. Crazy. 90. Hundo. 110.
I really need to see what that cross says. Hold on. Oh, I think it's like his kids' names. I am grateful. Nick, Rome. Yeah, there's Brooke. Brooke and Steve. That's the last time you see her name in his life.
I'm shaking for you.
120.
Wow. Wow.
120. This guy sucks. All right. You ever see that video of Brooke Hogan, speaking of her, Brooke Hogan singing with like that weird, like homosexual man that was wearing the sparkly glove? Hold on. Where is this? Brooke Hogan singing. I think it's like a morning show. Morning show. Oh my God, where is it? Talk show? I couldn't even spell morning. I can't find it. Gosh. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, pull it up. Brooke Hogan responds to Hulk Hogan death. What? No, she didn't.
So we're waiting for Brooke Hogan, the daughter of Hulk Hogan, to respond. Now, she hasn't posted in a long time on her Instagram, but
I am way too close for comfort to this guy. Oh, so she hasn't responded. What's this comment? I am so sorry to sound so harsh. His daughter had twins in January 2025, and she never allowed Hulk to see him. They have been estranged for years, and this was Brooke's choice. Love him or hate him, so be it. However, Brooke is his daughter, and as far as I'm concerned, you cannot talk to your dad while he's alive. I would not want you at my funeral. Seriously, what is the point? I think Hulk Hogan was a great man, more so with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Funny thing about that, he lied about the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He lied about how many of those he gave. He lied about the stories behind them. He once said that he had a Make-A-Wish. This is literally like a story out of like a parody sports film. He literally said that he went to England to wrestle in Wembley Stadium, brother. And there was a Make-A-Wish kid that he stopped by in like jolly old London or whatever he said. And he said the Make-A-Wish kid said, Hulk, I think I can... This is literally what he said. This kid said, apparently, Hulk, I think I can make it through if you're able to win your match tomorrow night. And Hulk Hogan said he went out there and he won that match, even though it was scripted. And he gave a little shout out to that kid because he knew he was watching. And then Hulk Hogan also told that story again one time on like a radio program. And he said the kid died the next day. Like, he's just such a weirdo. He's a very strange man. Let's just find Brooke Hogan singing, because I've already talked about it too much. I don't know if I can play all of this. All right, we're 30 seconds in. She hasn't sung yet. Who's this guy? This guy looks like every person that I've ever seen pump gas at a station in the middle of nowhere. She still hasn't sung. We're a minute in. Good Lord. She has the personality of one of his ripped t-shirts. Sorry, Brooke. I apologize that your father's dead. He wasn't the greatest. Back. I want more Hulk Hogan. All right. Ric Flair reacts to Hulk Hogan's death on TMZ Live. Why is he filming this like this? He's filming this like when I FaceTime my mother.
Rick, first of all, I am so sorry. This must hit you profoundly.
More than you'll ever know.
All right. I'm kind of sad now. That's sad. Poor Ric Flair. He's definitely in a bar right now.
People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends.
Ric Flair do have the Ric Flair drip, though. That's a nice chain. Got the Tony Stark Iron Man 2 glasses on fleek. I need a sip. All right, please, Rick, continue your eulogy.
And we kept it up with each other on a regular basis. So I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
How did you get the news? I'm so sorry, Rick. I am so sorry.
Oh, I've gotten it.
Wait, did someone else wipe his face? That's not Ric Flair's painted fingernails. A hand just came through and wiped his face.
I'm so sorry, Rick.
I'm not trying to make light of it. Hulk Hogan was a horrendous person. Ric Flair has even done some like insanely terrible things in his life. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of him. It's just, how badly do you want me to take this? I'm like a lifelong wrestling fan. And also, he sucks. It's one of those arguments that I never understood. You can't pick and choose. Kanye West made great music. He sucks. If he died tomorrow, we would talk about the great music and also how much he sucks. And people that think he sucks probably wouldn't feel... They would mourn human life as lost. But at the end of the day, what you give into the world is what you're going to get out of it when you leave it. So I'm not going to feel remiss that I'm not crying. Obviously, I shouldn't. But I'm also not going to feel remiss that I'm taking this kind of patronizing tone. I mean, let's be real. Hulk Hogan was a horrible racist, a predator. he thought that white people were the superior race. And in front of his African American and POC colleagues, he didn't even apologize. He said, "Watch what you do when cameras are around." That was his apology to his own coworkers. He ruined people's careers to further his own, even though he was the biggest moneymaker in the industry for, 20 straight years? Like, I'm really sorry. Like everyone loves Tom Hanks. If all this crap came out about Tom Hanks in the same level and he died, it would suck. But just like with Kanye, how sad can you get? And it's not about the death, it's about the life lived. So, again, not feeling that remiss. I do feel bad for Ric Flair. He wasn't from what we know that has come out about Ric Flair, he hasn't done all of this stuff, but Ric Flair has done some deplorable things that he has never apologized for. So, ownership goes a long way.
I am so sorry.
Someone literally did wipe his face. It's just mean.
I've gotten it from everybody. My phone won't stop. And that's a good thing because everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel, in this case, everybody is saying something nice.
No, they're not, man. I'm so sorry that they're really not. Yeah, I mean, obviously, all these comments were going to be like, "Rest easy, Hulkster."
So, you know, I knew him over the years, but not like
you, Harvey.
I really had a connection with this guy. I'm wondering what he meant to you. I mean, I want to hear your connection to him.
Well, we had magic. I mean, it wasn't like me and Steamboat, but we just had a chemistry that was, I felt like equal to me and Steamboat, but in a different way. And he was so over. I mean, when I went there in the '90s, I had never seen anything like it in my life. And the music started, and he came.
This hand coming in is killing me right now. It's like Ric Flair has no arms to give. They are both crying for Hulk Hogan. So this well-manicured woman's hand sporting what seems to be a new Apple Watch is just coming in with a napkin on fleek. That's awesome.
Down the hallway. I mean, I would get him down for 2 minutes, and we'd have. It's just an unbelievable relationship. I mean, and I'll give you an idea of how much fun we had working together. If we were doing a dark match after TV, we would go and he'd say, "Room service," and throw me in, give me the boot, and drop the big leg on me. We got back to the hotel for room service. I mean, that's how much fun we had working together.
So you guys were rivals in the ring. And I'm so curious about this. Did that ever kind of bleed out into real life, or were you always secretly friends?
Always friends. Always friends.
Okay, that's bullshit, Rick. Sorry. You said in interviews, books, he said the same. Wrestling is just like this, though. I can't be mad at Rick. I obviously, the guy genuinely loved the man. My friend made his sex tape and sued Gawker. Hold on, let me stop crying for a second. The Gawker's lawsuit was like the best thing he ever did because that guy sucked, genuinely. The guy that led Gawker was not a nice, good dude. More power to his queerness, but he was not a good dude. Not an okay man. Back to crying. I am so sorry, the Hulk Hogan, that I did not get to kick you on your way to heaven because I will not see you there. Okay, that's just me. More Ric Flair, please.
I'd be remiss to say I wasn't jealous that he was making so much more money than me, but it had nothing to do with him. It's just, I'm not going to bring up his name. It's the promotion just put me in a bad spot. But not with him ever. Are you kidding? I loved him, and everywhere we went, we drew money. It's just we had a connection, and since then we've done signings together and like the Hard Rocks, and I keep up with him. I've been out to his bar for karaoke, and I mean, it just, everybody wants to take a shot at Hulk, but he doesn't deserve it.
He keeps saying stuff like social media can be mean and everyone wants to take a shot at Hulk. Just come out with it. People hated his ass. His last appearance on WWE TV was him getting horrendously booed by the entire crowd while he was trying to sell his crappy IPA with an American flag being waved in the background by Jimmy Hart. Great life. Trump hears about Hulk Hogan's death during press conference. Hard to watch without crying. No way, dude. Is this real? Is this an actual video? Oh, people are like, oh, this is legit. I thought this was like a meme.
Let me begin by expressing our sadness at the passing of a wonderful man and a dear friend of mine.
This is a real video.
A wonderful man and a dear friend of mine.
Did also anyone hear his snort?
At the passing of a wonderful man and a dear friend of mine.
One more time, please.
At the passing of a wonderful man and a dear friend of mine.
It's the greatest video I've ever watched. Hard to watch without crying. Absolutely. I'm tearing up right now.
He was a very special person. I got to know him very well.
And I see. I think about how Donald Trump, his family was compromised.
What?
When I look out there and I see Donald Trump, I think about how his business was compromised.
What?
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
This was real. This really happened. And people started chanting USA after the man tore off his shirt.
Well, when things were tough, I realized that this too shall pass. That this was just a temporary situation. I realized that, as long as I made the right choice, and followed my faith more than what people were saying, or what the newspapers or the tabloids were saying, and didn't get sucked into that. None of that stuff was real. The only thing that is really real is the stuff that's going to last forever. Your faith and your belief in God, and knowing that, once you're a Christian, you've accepted Christ as your Savior. You're not going to perish, but you're going to have everlasting life. That belief in itself and that faith is what's pretty much the only thing that's real to me,
Well, yeah, except, all the other stuff you talked about during that same period, money, women, sexual conquest. Generally the Christian stuff. The good faith content.
Everything else is kind of like a life situation, but that's my life after life after life.
But buy bookmarks. I have been given permission to live stream Hulk Hogan's memorial. Subscribe to watch it on this channel. In marketing, we call that a call to action. That's awesome, man. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Is there anything else that's good? Mick Foley reacts to death of Hulk Hogan. This guy hated Hulk Hogan, by the way. A lot of guys did. But Mick Foley especially. I mean, Mick Foley will never say a bad word about anyone. But, like, he had a response to Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan said that he was fat, essentially. And Mick Foley kind of parent-teacher conferenced him down. So I'm going to watch this one more thing.
Just learned that Hulk Hogan.
Oh, my right ear loves this.
What was your first thought?
Well, it was almost shock because
now my left
ear
ear is enjoying it.
Larger than life. You just assumed, and he didn't appear to age. So you never thought that the last time you saw Hulk Hogan would be the final time you saw Hulk Hogan.
And you guys obviously had your quarrels over the years, but from what I have read, I mean, you guys made up. I mean,
yeah, it was a really nice moment. I mean,
okay,
it was
they made up.
Show,
they made up.
But I believe he was 100% sincere because he not only apologized to me for something that was said.
Wait, oh no, it wasn't at a show. What Hulk did was his shtick to apologize to Mick Foley. Mick Foley, brother, I'm sorry that I called you fat. You're an all-American made man. He probably did something like that. Sippy time. Come in, goddammit.
Oh, at least 25 years earlier. But he.
Let me see if I can find that. Mick Foley responds to Hulk Hogan. Here we go.
I would probably say I've trained more in the last week than Mick Foley's trained in 30 years. You know, I went ahead while Mick Foley was sleeping and eating cheeseburgers and M&Ms. I was in the gym working out. I work out 2 hours a day. I've been doing it for 30 years. It depends on where you want to be. The early bird ain't no worm. I mean, when these guys are sleeping, I'm training. When these guys are driving at night sometimes and partying, whatever, I'll go back home and I'll train. It all depends on how much respect you have for yourself. Now, nothing against Mick Foley.
All right, let's continue. Sorry. Cat time.
I didn't have to prostitute my body and throw myself, you know, over the coals into the fire and the glass to make $1. I decided to train and go another way.
I think he's never wrestled with me. I think if you ask guys like The Rock and guys like Stone Cold, if I was in shape when I wrestled them, if you ask Shawn Michaels, was I in shape when I put in 27 minutes with him in 1996, I think they'd say I was in deceptively good shape. I'm not trying to excuse myself because part of the reason I retired earlier than I should have is all the damage that the extra weight may have done to my knees and back. And
again, like a master class on how to respond to guys being jerks.
Earlier than I should have is all the damage that the extra weight may have done to my knees and back, and that cost me. But for Hulk Hogan to say that, I think is a lie, and I think it's kind of cruel. And I think if Hulk Hogan were to have wrestled me in his career, that he would sound more or less like a whiny girl in a porno film saying, not so fast and not so hard, because he didn't like the contact. So the reason I'm out early...
Yeah, Hulk Hogan was one of those light touch guys. I mean, he wouldn't do that to you, but he would want to be handled that way. That's why in Japan, you know, getting with even the strong style guys, he had to really, like, have them back off. Because, like, you don't hurt the Hulkster, brother. There's that great story that Undertaker tells about how, like, you know, Hulk told him over and over, you know, do this with me, don't do this with me. You know, guys do that. Make sure you walk out the way you walked in, that kind of thing in wrestling, right? You don't actually want to get, like, brutally hurt. Bruises and calluses are normal, but anything beyond that, you know, you really want to watch out for each other. But I might play that. Undertaker tells a great story exactly about who Hulk Hogan was in terms of that.
And he's around there when he's 49 years old, because I put out and I gave people
You did what?
Their money's worth. He did in a different way. He was a great entertainer. But at the same time, you didn't have to apologize to your friends for watching a Mick Foley match. And sometimes, I know when I was on the Larry King show and they were watching Hulk in action, it was embarrassing for me
Yeah, because it didn't look real. It was the pageantry side of wrestling that we all know and love, but it didn't look real, and he didn't advance that, and that's why he had to go out the door at a certain point in time when guys like Bret Hart would come in, and even then he politicked his way over Bret Hart. And then he did some terrible work in WCW, and on and on and on and on and on. Hulk Hogan became a name more than he became a talented wrestler. And then when the name dried up and the name had controversies attached to it, he tried anything that he could do to still hang on to that golden seat, brother. It just didn't work anymore. Did not work. Undertaker. One more. I must see one more Hulk Hogan video. Oh, you got me, brother.
Let's fast forward to 91 Survivor Series.
I love this story. Hold on.
What do you remember about the week with you winning the title and then the decision to give it right back on this Tuesday in Texas? What was that week like?
Well, that was crazy. Like, so, I mean, it started out bad and just it progressively got worse. Like, Hogan claims that I heard him on the tombstone during the pay-per-view, right? So I'm thinking to myself, like, I didn't find out till Tuesday. I knew there was going to be another pay-per-view, but I didn't know that I was...
Undertaker's got a lot going on, and he looks like he's in his own law office. He's got like 3 of the same exact leather chair. He's got a light tripod on one side. He's got a TV. He's got what looks like a printer with print paper on top. He's got a flag. He's got 2 flags. He's literally in his own little Oval Office.
I was going to drop this belt back and what was going on. I mean, that came up out of nowhere. But I kind of figured like, oh, okay. Maybe it's because he's telling everybody that I heard him, and Hulk was still the golden goose at the time. So I'm thinking, okay, this is, they're going to take this off of me because they can't trust me or whatnot. It really wasn't explained to me what the reasoning was behind it.
And by the way, what a different era this is for you because you've been the locker room leader for so long, the conscience of the locker room, all these nicknames. But back
he was the judge, jury, and executioner of Wrestler's Court, which was a thing where if you did things in the back room that other wrestlers didn't like, they'd hash it out in what's called Wrestler's Court, where they have the offending parties say their piece, you would say your piece, and then at the end, Undertaker would deliver judgment, brother. Which would basically mean, like, it essentially boils down to you were eating chicken in the locker room and you got it on a guy's bag that he keeps his tights in. You must now buy everyone beers. And also, we're going to shit in your bag or something like that. That's basically what it boiled down to.
then, you're still a
Interesting concept.
relatively new guy. So how do you even handle when people say that with Hogan saying you heard him?
Well, fortunately, like I was devastated. And the whole deal was a setup from the whole get-go, right? So back then, we would usually show up noon, on a TV or pay-per-view day. We show up at the arena around noon, 1 o'clock. Hogan would roll in about 4 or 5. So I remember getting there about noon, and Hogan was already there. And I'm walking down the hall.
Red flag number 1.
Red flag number 1, right? So
That guy looks familiar.
Hey, kid.
No, he's not Hannibal Buress, chat. Jesus.
Can I talk to you, right? So we go into one of the locker rooms, into
Of
the
course.
shower, right? That's where all the business was always done.
Absolutely, brother.
Back in the day, you went into the shower, whether it was to fight, settle, whatever score, it always happened in the shower.
Why don't you finish that, Undertaker? What else happened in the shower? I want to know. Give me the juice.
So he's telling me, he goes, hey, I got this neck injury. He says, I'm really nervous about taking your finish. And I was like, Hulk, believe me. I said, I will protect you. I pride myself on not hurting people. And I promise you, I will have you so tight that there's no way possible that you're going to hurt your neck.
Well, he's basically talking about the Undertaker has that finisher where he flips you upside down and pretends to slam your head into the mat and then lays you down and then folds your arms and 1, 2, 3 shoulders on the mat. Ping, ding, ding. So when he says hold you tight, he means like he's going to grip you, because the point of the move is that when he goes down to slam, quote unquote, your head into the ground, he's basically like making it look like your head touches, but your head is probably like, 3-4 inches from the mat. So when he says hold tight, he's like, I'm going to hold on to you, and I promise you your head's going to go nowhere near that mat.
So, with that, we went on about our business. Every point during the day, I'd pass him in the hall or whatnot, I'd get the, like, remember about my neck, right? So that's all I got all day. It was
my neck, brother.
My neck.
Watch my neck, brother.
So we go into the finish. Flair comes down, slides the chair down. I pick him up. And when I tell you I had the brother secure, he was secure. Boom. I give him the tombstone. As soon as my knees hit, I hear, oh, you got me, brother.
My neck and my back.
I'm like,
my back.
Yeah, I am just like, how I'm like, you have all these, like, I'm what, 20, I was 24, 25 years old. And, I just crushed Hulk Hogan, right? That's what's going on.
That's the scariest thing. Hold on a second. Let's break out for a second. That's the scariest thing, because it's like he knows that he like got the golden goose, right? That's like the whole point of it, is that he literally thinks that he got the golden goose. You injured the most popular, most successful, biggest money grab of all time. Idiot. All right. Just needed to explain that and also look at a couple things. Hold on a second. Yes. Meow. Meow. Meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow. Meow, meow. All right, that's enough of that. More Hulk Hogan, please. Yep. Meme face. Meme face. He's only got 3 fingers.
Through my head. Like, they gave me this opportunity. They gave me the chance to run with the ball, and I just heard the golden goose. So I'm just devastated, mortified, right? So they get Hogan out of the ring, and, I get the belt, and Paul Bearer and I are doing our stuff. So, I go backstage, and where I was asking, where's Hulk at, right? And he's always laying on Vince's office floor. So I go in there,
he's laying on the ground. The guy, keep in mind, Undertaker didn't know this at the time, but the guy's neck never touched the mat. And so Hulk Hogan is pretending to do this. So apparently they got him in the back. He laid down on the ground in Vince McMahon's office, who at the time, obviously, I'm not going to explain it.
Laid out on the floor, he's carrying on, and like I'm going in to check on him, but then here come the paramedics and stuff. So here, me and kayfabe, right? So I go behind a wall with Shane. Me and Shane are behind the wall, and I'm having to, listen to, can you feel this? Can you do that? And then I hear somebody get my wife and kids on the phone.
Hulk Hogan is like, someone get my wife and kids on the phone. I think I'm passing away. I'm having a heart attack.
I'm like, oh, so you can only imagine, right? Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, other than the fact that I just heard the golden goose. Shane's right there telling me, he's like, Mark, he goes, his head wasn't anywhere close to touching that mat.
This is Shane McMahon, by the way, the son of Vince McMahon. He's literally telling him at the time, bro, I have no idea what Hulk Hogan's going on about. He never went anywhere near that mat, man. What is going on?
And I'm like, no, man, I just couldn't hear it. Like, I was like, no, man, I heard him. I don't know what, I couldn't put a thought together. I just thought I'd killed him. And
you did, Undertaker. You put him in the grave for the last time. Bong.
So, and we didn't have access back then to watch things back right away like we do now. So I didn't see it until Tuesday in Texas, because the next day I think the next day I was in Hamilton, Ontario, defending the title against Davey Boy Smith, or I was gone.
Because there's no Monday Night Raw.
There was no Monday Night Raw yet, and we had house shows. So I finally got to see, but by now a lot of the boys had come up to me and they're like shaking their head like,
I don't know about this one, brother.
Never got anywhere close.
He never touched it. It was always. I wish I could pull up the clip because I don't want to get taken down, but it was so obvious. People, non-wrestling fans, are going to watch the shorts of this and be like, what the heck is this little boy talking about? Shut this ghost up. But I'm a nerd for this crap, man. Yeah, it's so obvious on the video. His head never even touched, and the guy acted like he shattered every bone in his neck. Lifting Andre the Giant, he bragged about that for 30 years, but Undertaker holding him so close to his own body that he was 6 airports away from the mat. Dead on arrival. Good guy, this guy.
To the mat. You watch it back, you can tell his head never touched. And so now I'm in this precarious situation. Like, I'm still a greenhorn, right? I mean, and now I've got to confront, the face of wrestling, the biggest draw, ever. And now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do here. Like, as a man, I got to know what the hell, but I also know that it's risking my professional career. And at that point, everybody's so paranoid too about their position and their spots. And
sure.
You don't hurt the top guys.
Right.
You don't hurt anybody, but how that works. And I finally, I got to San Antonio and I was like, Terry, I watched it back. Your head never hit.
This is the greatest explanation ever, by the way. Just like I said, we'll wrap it up with this video, and we'll wrap it up with this statement. Just like I said about Hulk Hogan, he lied about spending more life in a single year than other people did because he went to Japan a lot. He said that I'll win this match for you to a Make-A-Wish kid when he was never in the stadium. He lied. And this is one of many. Just listen to what excuse this guy gave this man. I'm not saying Undertaker's a saint either, but just listen to this.
He's like, well, brother, what it was you had me so tight that when we came down, I had nowhere to move. And that's what jammed my neck because I couldn't move at all.
You were too tight. Seatbelt was on too tight. Got it.
It was too tight. And at that point, then I was like, okay. Then I knew, I was like, okay. I kind of realized, okay.
I know what you're about, brother. I know you're lying to me, man.
I know what you're all about. And that's all I needed. I mean, but we're gonna fight him, or that was.
So this is the perfect segue, and I didn't know we'd get there from this conversation. What did your relationship? What was it like with Hogan over the years? Because from that point on, right, from '91 when you're becoming the man on, his position as a fixture fades. As the years go on. By '94, we know that him, Brett, Yoko deal wasn't the same Hogan. It wasn't quite the same. He's gone. So over those years when he's coming in and out and he comes back years later, and now at that point, it's really your locker room. What was your relationship like with Hogan?
You know what? I always looked at it like from where I was at that point to where I was at the beginning, I was in a completely different spot. So I didn't have to carry a grudge. I treated him with the respect that I think that for what he did for the business,
he deserved. Sure.
So I treated him that way. I was not overly friendly, but I did, if he was in the building, I always made sure to say hello and engage him in conversation. But, I've always, like I said, from that Tuesday in Texas, when I got that answer, I knew all I needed to know about him. And, you know, and that's the way always, then, you know, my radar was always up anytime that I had to, you know, interact with him. But I dealt with him. I dealt in a professional manner with him.
Did you?
And that's all you need to know. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. That was Hulk Hogan. Next up is Pirate Software, a little bit of gaming, yada, yada, yada. It's Ghost V2. I had a good amount of viewers, and a good amount of viewers on YouTube for someone that doesn't really even do this was like, you know, 18 to 20. But I would play it up because I had people, and I was playing games and stuff. And he would just constantly give me these looks. He was like a kind of a cruel person anyway, but, you know, he did that weird thing that some of your relationships will do. And if you ever catch yourself in this run, because you don't kind of feel it at the time, but he did this thing where he just constantly like picked at me in that way, like put down stuff that I did. And it was like kind of from like I don't want to say jealousy because it was, but also that makes me seem like a really cool person. But I am kind of a really cool person, I would think. I'd like to think. But like, yeah, he would just constantly jab at me. He did a lot of like messed up stuff, but he would just constantly like make little jabs at me anytime I accomplished something, or I was happy about something, or I was having fun with something. It's like really hard to get over. That's why I constantly feel like a ache in my back when I do stuff like this. But like I kind of want to, because most of the time I would be doing this anyway, just to myself. I would just be sitting here watching these videos, commenting on them in my head, so I might as well do it in a way that's like, I don't know, external. I'm getting something done. I'm going to upload this and create a bunch of shorts about it, you know. It's creative. It's just sad. I always hated that, this is an interesting discussion, but I always hated that kind of idea of cringe, because I'm very susceptible to cringe videos. I can't watch them because they will tear me apart inside. But I've always, and a lot of people have spoken on this, so this is not a new concept, but like the idea of cringe is a little too prevalent because it keeps people from doing something. I think like Tyler the Creator literally came out with an album like 2 days ago, and there's not a concept behind it, but the sentiment he put with the album is that, and he put this long post on the release of it that basically set out what he wanted to do with this album. And he said that because of phones and because of how often people are like filmed, or how often people have seen other people be filmed, there's like this hesitancy to do anything that would be seen as embarrassing or cringy. And he's like, I made this album to be danced to. So if you put this on, dance to it. I understand that people might find this weird or have made fun of other people like that before, but I think that's a bad thing. And I think people always pulling out their phones or making this kind of video or even saying the word cringe, which just doesn't mean anything anyway, if you really think about it. He's like, that's a bad thing. And I think more people would express themselves and dance and elevate themselves or just create if they didn't feel the fear of embarrassment. And I always thought that was the album came out 2 days ago. Banger album, by the way. Pretty great summer track. 10 songs. It's like 28 minutes long, but that's kind of the thing. So if you're ever picked at by a partner, leave. Leave, because you can't notice it at the time. And it's not that you're blinded with the rosy glasses. The rosy glasses are such an interesting concept because, you know, there's this BoJack Horseman quote where it's like, you can't really see the red flags when you're wearing the rose-tinted glasses because all the red flags just look like flags. And it's an interesting quote. And at the same time, it's truer in a further sense than that quote can give. It's like, you wouldn't even pay attention to something like that when you're with a person that you love like that, right? It's only in retrospect. That's why you can only teach your kids to make mistakes and have success afterwards and be okay with it, because you can't warn them against it because they're never going to notice it until the aftermath. You just can't. And it's not just rose-tinted glasses, just you're in that spot, you're in that place, you live with them, you share money. Those things just kind of don't get noticed. Over time they will because you've had the experience, but once it's first off, especially like a first big love like I had, it's tough to see that kind of stuff. So That is my note to you. But you know who's toxic just as well? It's not just my ex, guys. It's Pirate Software. Let me catch you up a little bit. We'll do this deep dive video, but I want you to understand I was a Pirate Software fan. That's way too bright. Way too bright. I was a Pirate Software fan. Pirate Software is this guy. His whole message is that everyone should code games or make games. You should go and make a game. You know, big supporter of the Game Jam, which is basically like the 48-hour film challenge, but with games. I was a fan of his because, just like everybody, for some reason his shorts blew up on the algorithm, and there was a great mixture of why that was. It was like, it was informative, he sounded confident, and he always did like this thing where he would put himself at the top of the video, and at the bottom he had MS Paint open, and he would illustrate in real time as he was talking the concept that he was talking about in MS Paint. So those shorts blew up. That's how I found them, was scrolling YouTube reels, essentially. And it would be Breaking Bad clip, clip from a movie that makes you feel like you've already seen it, Breaking Bad clip, and then all of a sudden it would be this deep voice guy talking about, when I worked at Blizzard Software, this is what I did. Draws box, draws other box. I tricked people into giving me their passwords. Draws line between two boxes. And I was very good at that. I got my passwords. And he made you feel like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And there's a lot of people like that out there. You know, you like watching people that seem like they've got it together and know what they are and know where they're going, because you want to feel that way too. But very quickly, since I'm kind of comfortable as a person,
all right. So
very quickly it was like, this guy sounds illegitimate, and I wasn't the first one to say that. But thing after thing after thing came out about him. You know, he was he quite literally was like the biggest hype trainer on Twitch, which basically means a hype train is like gifted subscriptions to gifted subscriptions. It's kind of like the Twitch version of that Starbucks line where the guy pays for the guy behind him and then it goes on for the rest of the day. He was the longest version of that. Longest road, as they call it in board gaming, where he had the most people gift subscriptions. I think he got up to like 55,000 and then it capped off. I mean, he gained, I think he was at like 18,000, 20,000 subscribers after years. And then he jumped to like 1 million in like so many weeks. But little cracks started to form, and I'm going to start playing this long form video and kind of have someone else explain it for me, because, you know, I'm a VTuber.
The harder they fall. And that phrase is perfect to describe when a massive...
Literally on the screen, I thought I didn't expand the video. Damn you.
Content creator gets into controversy bad enough to end their career. But when it comes to Pirate Software, he wasn't just a big
There's no
content
actual
creator.
subtitles?
He was someone who managed
Fine.
to blow up from 13,000 subscribers all the way to 1.1 million in less than 2 months, taking over the YouTube Shorts algorithm at some point, and even making over $50,000 in one Twitch stream. However, he also managed to lose all of that just as fast. His actions didn't just make him unlikable, but it exposed him.
Yeah, he is losing, no joke, like 10,000 subscriptions a day. It might have slowed down, but like the bleeding was intense. And I think his Twitch channel, you know, he used to get like 20, 30,000, like H3 numbers on Twitch. And now I think he's doing like 8 to 11 grand. Like he lost everybody.
Both as a brand and as a person, making people realize that they had subscribed to him over lies or exaggerations, and that he never showed his true self until now. You've no doubt somehow heard about this already. So many people are talking about him because it's that much of a crazy story, and so
Hello? Ah! Jump scare.
The bigger they are,
no,
reaching 13,000 subscribers after 7 years.
There we go.
But then, at the end of October 2023, he would take a decision that would change his life forever. And that would be uploading highlights of his Twitch streams as YouTube Shorts. These were such an incredible success that for a while...
Yeah, like, look at these. MS Paint, American Healthcare, 21 million. I'm just going to pull... Hold on. Kelly Osbourne reacts to Ozzy Osbourne death. Good lord, guys. Let's see, pirate software drama. Barely. First video is just that. That's awesome. Hold on. I'm gonna watch a couple of these. Here, look.
Will you be my mentor and teacher so I can become a hacker, master of all hackers? No. No, if you want to learn how to hack, dude, go to owasp.org, which is a website that will teach you all about web vulnerabilities. Then make an account on HackerOne. HackerOne will allow you to go and do bounty programs legally.
Oh my God.
Where you can find vulnerabilities.
The guy's talking about hacking, and he's going to like these basic hacking websites that basically teaches you how to bring up the F12 developer program side of your browser window.
For companies, as long as you stay in scope and turn them in, and you can get some cred, you can get some money. Like, it's a good thing. It's a really positive thing. Will you be?
I mean, yeah, you can do that, but those are like basically like those, you know, get money by downloading these random apps and playing to the 12th level, and we'll give you $5 kind of thing. You know, it's finding very basic elements of very random websites, and then you get $2.
Actually, how many of you don't even know that Alt Print Screen exists? Did you know that if you hold down Alt and then hit Print Screen, it'll actually only capture the program that you were currently in? Did you know that? Here's another one for you. Hold down on your keyboard right now, Control, Alt, Shift, Windows, and then hit L. Control, Alt, Shift, Windows, L. Do it right now. And that's not a joke. And it's not going to screw up your computer. Control, Alt, Shift, Windows, L. Now do it with T. Do it with P. Just realize how horrifying that is. For a moment, you've gained some cursed knowledge.
I think that opens up, respectively, like LinkedIn and Pinterest.
You want to know why I'm not going to use Kick? Here, I'm going to give you one thing about Kick. If you go to Kick right now, I'm going to go to the first stream in the entire website. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to hit F12. And I want you to see this. You see how that says Amazon IVS? Amazon IVS is interactive video service put out by Amazon. That is the back end of Twitch. They're renting the same system that Twitch is. Now, why is this a problem? Because Kick, they have a category. That category, if you type in the word other, will show up as other watch party. This used to be other TV shows and movies. It has hundreds of people illegally streaming movies and TV shows in it right now, including Disney content, movies. No, my dad didn't inspire the WoW guy from South Park. My dad is the WoW guy from South Park. He was the cinematic director for Blizzard.
Does anyone else notice that he covers his chin leafy style? Yeah, those are his shorts. So you can see what I'm talking about. Confident, deep voiced, straightforward, well spoken. Knows what he's talking about. What happened? That's a good question.
They took over the YouTube Shorts algorithm. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at all if a huge portion of you watching this video right now came across these shorts on your own time. The views speak for themselves, with tens of millions of people being exposed to his channel for the first time and liking it. But how did he manage to do that when so many others couldn't? Well, many different shorts actually share the same factors. All you have to do is just watch one to understand the appeal. This short right here, titled Social Engineering, has every single one of these factors combined.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. Stop. Just stop. Meow. All right. Where were we?
So let's take a look at it and then I'll explain. Watch.
So when I worked at Blizzard, I had to do a social engineering task where I had to hit customer support.
Real quick, social engineering in terms of IT is basically, you guys ever work in a corporate job and they send you these very obviously like fake emails for phishing scams? And if you click on it, then you'll like get an automated email saying you fell for a phishing scam. Please report to updated phishing scam webinar held at 12 p.m. You know, stuff like that. That's basically what he did. He emailed people in the same office to get information from them, or he might, at the very most, he might have gone cubicle to cubicle to do an audit to see if people had passwords on sticky notes.
And I had to get 50 questions answered. And let me tell you, I got my questions answered. I shouldn't have. That was the problem. They're not supposed to answer those. And one of the things that I found that was really interesting is people that had been there for 1 year were really, really hard to trick. But people that had been there for 5 years were really easy to trick. What have we learned? We've learned that training is the issue. Everybody that actually worked at the company got training in their first year and then they never got training again. So they became complacent, exactly.
So that's like really smart. That makes this guy sound like a genius. If you didn't know anything about this actual position and what he would actually do, this would sound really intelligent.
The director of CS came and he said, I want the names. And I said, I'm not giving you the names. You're just going to fire those people. And he goes, I'm going to go to your boss. I was like, do it. My boss is like, you got the names? I was like, yeah. And he goes, you going to give them to him? And I was like, no. And he goes, he's not going to give you the names, bud. And then I sat down and I was like, look, I'm not giving you the names because if I did, you'd fire all of these people that are your best employees, the ones that have been here the longest. And in 4 years, you will have the exact same problem with the people that are newbies right now. The issue is not the employees, it's your training regimen. I sat down with him. We created a new 6-month training regimen. And guess what? I went back about a year later, did the same thing. All those people passed with flying colors. Not a single one of them answered my questions.
Well, there you have it. The deep voice, with the confidence and eloquence in his speech, as well as the whiteboard he was drawing on at the bottom that was meant to soothe any attention span issues Gen Z might have, was the perfect combination. Additionally, this story made him out to be a genius, but not just any genius, a noble genius who saved 8 employees from losing their jobs by standing up to the evil boss. And
that's right. He was the savior of Blizzard itself. Blizzard still had horrendous layoffs, but he was the savior of 8 people at Blizzard. And his dad worked there. He should be commended.
Where did that boss work? At some unknown company? No, he worked at the grand, prestigious video game company, Blizzard Entertainment. Yes, that's right. This guy right here, talking in such an amazing, eloquent tone, worked at Blizzard Entertainment. And that's something he would make sure to mention any chance he got.
When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard.
Yep, Blizzard,
7
Blizzard,
years, yeah.
Blizzard.
I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment.
Anyway, we'll get back to that later in the video, but for now, all you have to understand is that these shorts were extremely effective. Pirate Software had gone from 13,000 subscribers to 1 million before the year even ended. That's 2 months, going from 13,000 to 1.1 million. And over time, his shorts have racked up
1 million subscribers in 2 months, guys. That's how shorts can work. You get picked up by the algorithm, you find a good format, shorts will give you 1 million subscribers in 2 months. And that's like the pinnacle, right? That's like top of the top. But he still accomplished that.
Almost
2.3 billion views on his shorts. I don't know what kind of like revenue that translates into, but that's ridiculous. That's like the size of some like popular Minecraft gaming channels.
Billion
on shorts alone. Come on, man. And when that graph looks like that, where your long form video views are just like the smallest cut of the pie, not even the crust, and that's still 74 million, that's ridiculous. So what have we learned so far? Pirate Software, suddenly the most popular man on YouTube. Just wait.
Views, a massive, astounding achievement in such a short amount of time. But YouTube wasn't the only platform that benefited. I mean, these shorts were highlights from his streams, so of course people went to those streams to see the real thing live. And so his Twitch channel went from 400 concurrent viewers to thousands. And within barely 3 months, he was at over 8,000 concurrent viewers. That's top 1% of the top 1%. Now look, of course you might think, well, there are bigger streamers out there, of course, but even those streamers must have gotten envious sometimes because of how loyal and supportive Pirate Software's community was.
And that's what he comments on now, right? That's like his whole defense, is that people are only using his name to drama farm views because he's so popular. And anyone in the Twitch community that ever said a bad word to him is jealous because he's so popular. It's like, sure, but you're popular in the way that the Chewbacca mom was popular. You just did the Chewbacca mom like 6 or 7 times. But you're still the long-haired, furry version of the Chewbacca mom, which may very well just be the Chewbacca mom, depending on how you look at it.
On December 2023, he would beat Twitch's hype train record. When enough people donate bits or gift subs, the hype train is activated, starting at level 1. While that's happening, a timer starts counting down to 0. If more people donate, the timer resets and they get to level 2. Pirate Software's community had gotten him to level 55, and they discovered together that level 55 was actually the cap. No one had ever reached a hype train level this high on the entire platform. He had gotten over 7,000 subs and 1.8 million bits. If you don't know what this means, he had essentially made $50,000 in one stream.
In one stream. Almost 2 million bits, over 7,000 subscriptions. And that accounts to $50,000 in a conservative estimate in one stream. Good Lord.
This guy's community was so unstoppable that it...
Not counting sponsorships, not counting ad rolls, not counting anything, just in bits and subscriptions paid.
Made everyone else be aware of his...
Once again, I say to this guy, to almost every public figure, shut your mouth and ride it through. But no, he had to show the depths of his narcissism and ego. It was just World of Warcraft at first. Now it's everything, bud, because you just wouldn't shut up.
Existence. So much so that he actually was able to get nominated to the Streamer Awards in December of 2023. He was barely getting viral. But this is just how influential he was in such a short span of time. But what I want you to understand here is that the Streamer Awards actually have way bigger streamers than Pirate Software and other category nominations. For example, like XQC or Kai Cenat. These streamers would of course send their own communities to go vote for them on the website. And they did so with no issues. But when Pirate Software sent his community to vote for him, they crashed the fucking website. No other
Oh yeah, by the way, he won a streamer award, but it was through votes, and he sent all of his fans to vote. And that's fine, but it's kind of like those old, name your Mountain Dew contests that were taken over by 4chan, and they put something racist at the top. Or like that Pitbull concert one that was taken over by 4chan, and Pitbull was like, vote for where you'd want me to hold my next concert, fans. And 4chan took it over, and they sent him to Anchorage, Alaska, to a Walmart in a town that had 200 people. And he played there. Pitbull actually went to that town and held a concert, I think at the Walmart, because it was like a sponsorship by Walmart. I mean, he went through with it. Pitbull's a good guy. Say what you want about his music. Pitbull's a good man. A good, bald, sexy man.
Creator had even come close to crashing the website. So it goes without saying that he won the best software and game development streamer.
I hate his face right here. I just hate it. Knowing what you know and looking back, it's like looking at footage of, like I've said before, Kanye West, even though they're nowhere near the amount of terrible. Nowhere near it. Don't think I'm saying that. It's just now you look back at him smiling, you're like, you douchey motherfucker.
Award in 2023. He wasn't just absolutely killing it, the guy was speedrunning being a content creator, getting to 1 million subs, getting hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitch, winning streamer awards, and beating records when it came to donations on Twitch. So of course, I say this with no exaggeration, the sky was the limit and the guy was barely getting started. If he could achieve that in just a couple of months, what could he achieve in years? Would he become a legend? Achieve stardom?
He achieved both of those. In almost equal measure. One side famous, now infamous. Anyway.
Either way, he was unstoppable until he wasn't. And he had no one to blame but himself. The first incident that would begin his cataclysmic downfall was, in the most ironic way possible, in a World of Warcraft dungeon. Yes, Blizzard Entertainment's biggest game of all time.
And you're like, what? Okay, what did he do? I keep hearing, for the laymen that are going to watch these shorts, what did he do? What did he do? What was World of Warcraft? How do you get controversy in World of Warcraft? There's a viral video from back in the day where people raided a player funeral in World of Warcraft. And that went viral. And people were like, poggers. What did he do in World of Warcraft that made... What could you do in World of Warcraft beyond raiding a player funeral that would cause so much hatred? Is he flooding the marketplace? Is he doing... I don't even know if this is still in World of Warcraft. I haven't played since the Burning Crusade, but people would hate you if you went to like the auction house or whatever it was called, and you'd price an item, a popular item for sale, just lower than like Bob Barker style, just lower than someone else's item. I got private messages from people that were like, dude, I'm selling these for $300 and you just put them at $299. Like, bro, this isn't RuneScape.
And it was...
It's like, what did he do? What did he do? What did he do? Let's see what he did.
Would become his worst nightmare. Guys, I don't think World of Warcraft needs any introduction, okay? It came out in 2004 and revolutionized gaming forever. Many games tried to copy it, many games tried to compete with it, they all died, and this game is still alive today in 2025. Now, throughout the years, it has received many different expansions, 9 in total. And while they would add more content, quests, story, sometimes new races, sometimes new classes, some of them would also permanently alter the game's fundamental mechanics. In other words, the game that you're playing now in 2025 is vastly different from the game that you would have played on release day. One could even go as far as saying that they're completely different games at this point.
Yeah, it's not even the same game as far as I know. Like nowhere near it. Hold on one sec. I'm going to fix my eye blink. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that.
Seeing that so many people's most meaningful gaming experience while they were growing up was World of Warcraft, a lot of them yearned for nostalgia. A lot of them wanted to relive those days when all they had to do was worry about mechanics from 10 or even 15 years ago. This would result in the rise of WoW private servers, unofficial servers ran by fans in which they would use old versions of the game.
I played a private server once. They were very cool. Before they came out with WoW Classic Cola, you had to literally start your own instance and basically emulate like a certain version of WoW. But now they came out with WoW Classic Cola, so it's like those went by the wayside. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to say that right now anyway.
At some point, Blizzard would start taking down some of the most popular private servers and would cause community outrage, with many asking Blizzard directly, well, why are you going to take them down, seeing that there's demand for them if you're not going to make one of your own? And so they took their sweet time, but eventually, in the year 2019, they would launch World of Warcraft Classic, bringing back World of Warcraft exactly how it was back during patch 1.12.1 of September 2006, before the launch of its first ever expansion.
And this is all building up to this singular concept, which is hardcore mode. What is hardcore mode? Hardcore mode is essentially Pokemon Nuzlocke run. Hardcore WoW is you get one character, second you die, you got to start all over again. Imagine that. Imagine how long it takes to build a character to a certain level in any sort of game, in any sort of RPG game, in any sort of MMO game. And consider what hardcore mode would mean to someone who loses their character. And once that happened, a very popular streamer started his own hardcore alliance, his own guild. That streamer was soda poppin', and the guild's name was OnlyFangs. You may now clap.
Or Streamer Guild in October 2023, in which he and a bunch of other big streamers would try their best to level up their character to level 60 without dying, and eventually also try to do endgame content. It was a big success, so at the end of 2024, he decided to launch Season 2. This time, better and bigger than ever before. The amount of streamers that participated...
Hold on, the text is getting too small. I gotta put on my glasses. Good God.
In this Season 2 was insane. There are streamers here who had never even played World of Warcraft that were huge in games that they played. Some were League of Legends pros, some were Counter-Strike pros. I mean, the list went on. It was an astounding amount of people. And of course, one of the many big streamers that had joined OnlyFangs was none other than Pirate Software. Seeing that he had built such a massive influence over the year of 2024, adding him to the guild was seen as a net positive. It was seen as a good thing, until one day it wasn't. The maximum level you could reach in World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore was level 60, and getting there, just by itself, is already an ordeal that lasts dozens of hours and sees you try your best to not.
Gotta kill a lot of boars to get that way. Level 60, the only time I reached level 60 was with, like, I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, a Dark Elf Warlock. And that was a lot of help from high-level players that would just run low-level dungeons for me, kill everything, let me get all the experience, rinse and repeat. And also tons of spending on double XP cards. You know, you'd invite someone new to the game and you'd both get double XP for this amount of time. And then we would just run. It was basically like not playing the game, but playing the game. Very grindy World of Warcraft. But I don't need to tell you that. There's encyclopedias written about that. I think there was a classic character in Wrath of the Lich King that came out, like Death Knight or something, that I think started at level 60. So a lot of guys went that way, because then you would only need 20 more levels to the cap, which was 80, I guess, at the time. But it was still arduous to get there. Yeah, I've only had one character at level 60, and that was way back in the old times.
Die. Now, Dire Maul is a dungeon that you can only access if you're level 58 at the minimum, and its appeal is the amount of great gear that it drops. Dungeons are typically ran by 5 people, so Pirate Software and 4 other streamers decided to take this on in order to get better gear. Now usually, when you're in a dungeon or a raid, there's always a team leader, someone who calls the shots. It's a very stressful role, especially in a raid when you're managing a couple dozen people, and it's even crazier in hardcore World of Warcraft because whatever you decide might affect the accounts of the people playing. One wrong move and they lose dozens of hours of progress, and it's all on you. I'm saying this because I want you to bear in mind that Pirate Software is not the group leader here. But as silly as this sounds, the beginning of Pirate Software's downfall was because of this dungeon and what you're about to see here.
Yeah, so for those uninitiated, I mean, a lot of people will know this through like gaming osmosis and pop culture anyway. But dungeons and raids you do with a group. There's different classes that you would do, but there's basically certain positions. So, like, there's a tank, which is the person that does the most DPS or damage per second, and also has a high level of defense, armor, what have you. They're sponges for hits, and they would lead. People would follow them. They would lead the group. I'm saying this in the most basic terms that's going to annoy anyone that actually plays WoW right now. But they lead the group through the dungeon. They're well versed in the dungeon, or at least they've seen enough videos of the dungeon to sort of fake their way until they make it. Those are the ones that lead the group, and they also attract the enemies, which is called aggro. They lead the enemies away from attacking the rest of the group, so the rest of the group can do their own DPS and stack their DPS while the tanks take all the damage. There's other subclasses like Archer and stuff that are just for DPS. They're not tanks, but they do a lot of damage. They're weaker than tanks, but they do a high level of damage to where you want them actively fighting, but you want them kind of in the middle. And then farther away from that are healers. Healers have some damaging effects, some area effects of damage, but most of the time they're healing. So they're going to be constantly healing the tanks, constantly healing DPS, and tanks have to juggle certain things as like how many enemies to take on at once. You don't want to run through the dungeon and take hordes and hordes of enemies, but you don't want to take one enemy at a time because there's a time limit, and also you're going to strain the team out over a longer period of time. You kind of want to take a couple groups at once. This is the layman's terms of dungeon crawling in MMO form. And again, people are going to watch this at some point and go, this guy's an idiot. But I am explaining it for the base level people that kind of look like the guy in the middle in terms of gaming. And that's not a bad thing. Not everyone needs to know how an MMO works. Just trying to tell you now.
The YouTuber Dev, otherwise known as Short Fat Otaku, great name by the way.
Yeah, really. I love when there's like gaming video essays like this on YouTube, because it's always going to be like, Dan, otherwise known as Sick Free Gamer XX69. It's like reading a court document and that comes out.
Combine the perspectives of everyone who was streaming in the dungeon minus one person. One of them was Pirate Software on the top right. As you're watching this, you're going to hear the team leader say, run. In World of Warcraft dungeons or raids, this means retreat, but help each other retreat. Not every man for himself, don't care about your teammates. You're meant to stick around, try your best to outmaneuver the enemies while making sure your teammates also make it out with you.
This is where the pirate software apologists come in. And again, with everything with pirate software, it's the same freaking thing. It is, if you don't know what he's actually talking about, you think he sounds really smart and cool. When the dungeon leader, the tank, essentially says run, you don't run completely away from all of your teammates. You assist them in going with you. Imagine it like a Saving Private Ryan scenario, and I'm not comparing a World of Warcraft dungeon to D-Day. But it's a similar concept. If you run, that means you don't, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. You run with the group. If you're a healer, you heal with the group. If you're DPS, you try to keep, you know, the little enemies, not the big ones, but like the little enemies away. Try to kill them off real quick to lighten the load as you guys run away. And then hopefully you get to a certain part of the dungeon that doesn't have enemies. The aggro ends and the enemies run off, or you kill enough of them to where the other bigger ones don't really matter. Then you take a break, heal up, talk about what you want to do. If you want to leave and come back in, you can do that. But you regroup. It's a war scenario. Pirate Software didn't do that. Pirate Software literally ran. And keep in mind, this is a hardcore group. This is a hardcore server. You die, you're dead. There's no running back from the graveyard. You're done. And all these guys have level 60 characters. This is tens, hundreds of hours. And this is a popular guild. This is a popular alliance. OnlyFans was made up of some of the biggest streamers in the world. Not World of Warcraft streamers. Could have been Fortnite streamers. Could have been Call of Duty streamers. Could have been chat streamers. Live streamers. IRL streamers. These were not nobodies. Nobody's not saying anything disparaging. I mean that they were like popular faces in gaming. And Pirate Software said, screw you, I'm gone. Knowing all of this. He's also wearing a mage's cap, and he doesn't heal anybody as he runs away. I'll just let the video explain it. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. My blood is boiling. I don't have blood because I am literally an ethereal presence in your realm. But if I did, it would be boiling.
But as you might guess, that's not what happened here at all. Watch.
God damn it.
Run.
Just run. Keith, are you done here?
All right, so he said run. The team tries their best to make sure that they all get out together.
No.
Look at Pirate Software.
Oh, see how you fine. Any grenades, anything?
Come on.
You can just
heal him.
Yeah, just heal him.
The guy is saying heal him, heal him, heal him. Pirate Software is a healer. You know what Pirate Software isn't doing? Healing. This is Pirate Software screen. Do you know where the closest teammate is to him? This guy, who's actively dying.
Come back a little bit.
Now there's no one around him. Guess what Pirate Software is still doing? He is still running away. Come on. I don't even play these kinds of games and I'm getting mad.
This is on me, sitting bare form.
It's not me.
Look at this guy.
I can help a lot. Yeah.
He rounded the corner. Anyone ever see Saving Private Ryan and how pissed you got at that scene? And you can't get pissed because this is a real element of war. This is World of Warcraft. The War of Warcraft. But that scene of Saving Private Ryan where his like American army mates, I don't know military jargon, is upstairs getting brutally stabbed by a German soldier. And there is a guy on the stairwell 5 feet away from this with a rifle ready to go, too scared to go in. The German guy only has a knife. And the scene, Spielberg cuts back and forth between these two. And I remember anytime I ever watched this with anybody, people getting so, like, about to throw the TV out the window at this guy. Go up there and shoot him. But that scene is meant for that because it's like there's a fear involved in that. That is real life. This is a healer. And look There's no one in his team on his screen right now. More pirate software.
Yep.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
Where are you walking, bro?
This is savageable. Come on, man.
So his teammate told him, Pirate, why are you walking, bro? This is salvageable. Come on, man. He doesn't care. He keeps running all by himself.
Just kill the mastiffs.
Innovate.
Kill the mastiffs. We got this. In a sense of
or something.
Multiple people are saying like I said at the top, you're supposed to regroup, try to salvage it. Multiple people are saying right now, all we got to do is kill the mastiffs, which sound like is a type of dog. Don't think they're dogs. Hope they're not dogs. But they're literally saying, bro, we can salvage this. Multiple people on this team is saying this right now. What did he do? He laughed. Oh, he's enraging. I don't play this game, and I am beside myself in grief.
Mana?
It's almost like Hulk Hogan died.
What am I supposed to do for you?
just kill the mastiffs. One shot. Okay, we more.
I want you to
Do
hear
you
this.
see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill the mastiffs. One shot. Okay,
That was his response.
Intervene the healer. Kill the mastiffs. We got this. In a sense of
or something.
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill the mastiffs. One shot.
Are you dead serious?
Okay, we
more on the way.
Now. The mastiffs can be ice novas.
Now we're gonna wait.
Musara?
Oh.
Okay, get out.
Run.
Evocation's on cooldown, man.
I can taunt last.
How much mana is
as well?
There's no.
I want you all to pay attention to this. Roommate, I want you to pay attention to this. Every single person is still in the instance. They are still in the dungeon. What is his screen at? He is logging out. Everyone is still in battle. He is literally in the loading screen. I'm bothering my roommate with this. I'm so angry. I'm keeping my roommate awake. They are currently trying to sleep with South Park in the background, and I am screaming at the screen right now over a video game that I do not play, over a man that only internet denzians care about. He is in the loading screen. I'm getting over the flu. I can't laugh without coughing.
You have a boss in you. You called run.
Getting slowed.
Fuck. Wait,
anything for me?
Stop me. Oh,
I don't think I cannot stun him. Also,
no, just run out.
So, that sounded like a massive fuck up, didn't it?
Yes, it did, short fat otaku. Bear in mind, Pirate Software's excuse here was, I have no mana, I can't help you, when he clearly had 2 items in his inventory that could bring back up his mana. He could have totally helped.
I think at one point someone pointed out that, like he said, he's got 2 items in his inventory that could regain mana. He's telling people he has no mana. What do you want me to do? Number one, you're a healer. You should always have mana, or always at least being paying attention to the amount of mana, because that's what you do. You use the magic juice to use the healing magic. This motherfucker has 2 items that would regain mana, and he's letting all of his players die permanently. Their characters are permanently gone now. And what I'm saying is that someone found out, someone watched the clip pretty closely and saw that at one point before, either right before he runs or while he's running, he brings his cursor over one of these items and then pulls it away. He's the guy on the stairwell. He's got the gun. He cocks it, does nothing with it.
And saved his 2 teammates that ended up dying, losing all their progress. This was a disaster. One of his teammates, Yamato, on the left here, confronted him and was asking him what happened, like what's going on? And this was what Pirate Software had to say right after the fact.
You instantly ran. You didn't even look
As
back.
much as you're angry right now, Of course I ran.
I'm not angry at all.
You overpulled 2 packs. You overpulled 2 packs and a boss. I had 1,400 mana left. I had to spend all of that mana to try and put it on Blizzard to save you guys in the first place, and nothing left. You weren't paying.
Hold on.
And you weren't paying attention to where the boss was. That's not on me.
So 2 of his teammates pretty much lost everything. He very clearly ran on his own when he could have just said, you know what, look, yes, I panicked, I screwed up, my bad, sorry. But he instead decides to blame his entire team except for himself. It was your guys' fault for pulling in the enemies. It was your guys' fault for calling run in the middle of a fight. It was.
And also one of his own chatters is like, that dude is being a bitch, LOL. Speaking about one of the guys that just lost his entire character. And Pirate couldn't even like muster any sort of humanity about it. He was like, you overpulled and you guys didn't do enough damage to the boss. I just don't understand what you wanted me to do. You ever hear that from a guy? Like, here's a good comparison. Have you guys ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Number 1, answer is yes. I already know that if you're watching this. Number 2, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons with a player who sucked? The answer is yes. Number 3, have you ever played a harder adventure in Dungeons and Dragons with a player who sucks, who constantly made excuses for themselves as to, number 1, why they were bad, number 2, why they never helped anybody, and number 3, why they screwed around? How infuriating was that player? How often did you go to the DM or other players in that game that you were holding and went, oh my God, if Steven doesn't show up, but his name's probably Luke. If Luke doesn't show up next week, I'd be fine with it. I would be so fine with it. He says problematic things. He's a smarmy dick. He thinks just because he works in desktop app support, he's like some kind of god. And because he painted his own metallic high-end plastic minifig, he gets to do what he wants and says what he wants, and he makes a lot of overtly sexual jokes to the non-playable characters, to the point where the DM has to make up dialogue that essentially sounds like a girl in a bar trying to deny an overbearing dude. That is this man right now.
It's your guys' fault for this and that. This was very weird behavior. I mean, this is just a game, and he was acting like if he apologized, he would be committing a cardinal sin or something. It made his teammates very uncomfortable to the point where the guild leader had to step in. Now, Sodapoppin was initially the guild leader, but then, unexpectedly, he dueled Tyler 1, who had leveled up to level 60 and became a very important member of the guild in a fight that would...
I know nothing about Tyler 1 except the meme videos of him, where he's very short, very muscular, and screaming a lot. And also that video where he tries to show off like a chicken spaghetti plate to his viewers and then spills the entirety of it on his keyboard. I guess he's popular.
Determine who the new guild...
He's popular. I'm not trying to be disingenuous. Good for Tyler 1.
...master would be. What no one was expecting, though, was that Tyler 1 would beat Sodapoppin, becoming the guild master. Seeing that this was becoming a big guild issue, he had to step in and brought both Yamato and Pirate Software into a call in order to squash the beef once and for all. The result? A catastrophe. Watch.
What do you want, man?
Let me say it again.
He already said his piece.
Pirate.
Go on.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to speak to him because I didn't speak to him correctly. I said it again. We all did mistakes, bro. Like I didn't say, we are just blaming you. It's about the zero accountability is what makes us so mad.
There's no zero accountability, dude. Everyone can do something better.
No,
but when you open up and you yell over another person
listen,
like you were doing
earlier...
speak? Nah, I'm good.
You...
See ya. I'm not doing that shit again with him. Nah, he did it the first time. I'm not doing it a second one. Not interested.
I mean, this is so weird. Yamato was being as mature as possible here, saying, listen, this was all our fault. We're not blaming you. We just want you to admit, just like we've admitted, that we all screwed up, and he couldn't even say that. Leaving the call like an immature, disrespectful baby as Yamato was talking. This not only rubbed his dungeon teammates the wrong way, it rubbed the entire OnlyFans guild as well as the viewers the wrong way. As criticism was mounting, Pirate Software was for the first time confronting massive controversy coming his way.
Yeah, I remember this. And I was like, wait, the MS Paint guy got in trouble for World of Warcraft? And I had the same reaction everybody did that wasn't directly involved in this. Who cares?
any point in time, he could have just simply apologized.
The answer is the entirety of the internet now.
And moved on. Instead, he only chose to double down, playing the victim and saying that other streamers and OnlyFans just want to cause problems with him for no reason whatsoever.
Content is causing drama and problems. There's a lot of streamers actually in this guild that want to cause problems specifically with me, and have even stated so publicly on their Twitch, saying that they want to have a fight with me for content. That's not content. That's dog shit. Ridiculous. Keep it. Not going to be a part of it.
I mean, seriously, why would people just want to attack you unprovoked for no reason whatsoever? What a cruel world we live in. The bulk of these events would unfold from January 10th to January 12th, 2025. By that time, Pirate Software would have received so much criticism, so much hate, that he felt compelled to post a long tweet explaining his point of view on Twitter, saying, "To those trying to character assassinate me online for a bad pull in Dire Mall WoW Hardcore, this is Hardcore WoW and a lot is on the line when you step foot into a dungeon. Here is a light breakdown of the last 24 hours. Our party went the wrong..."
A light breakdown. There's no such thing to Pirate Software as a light breakdown. This man is wordier than the Bible. He's one of those guys that like types out these long over explanations that just drip with narcissism. He does nothing wrong. Everyone's misinterpreting the situation. No one knows anything but him, and everyone's out to get him. Draws box in MS Paint.
And overpulled multiple packs with the boss. The shot caller made the call to run, then went back on that call. During the run out, another pack was pulled as we had opted to skip it previously, which is never a good thing. Communication was completely broken throughout this, and it was our second time failing the dungeon. Everyone played poorly, and 2 people ultimately lost their characters for it. Each person in this group made mistakes, including myself. I have never once said I was perfect in my play, nor that I was a god gamer. I'm just an ex-Blizzard employee that has played Mage for a long time. To pin that on a...
Had to put it in that he was an ex-Blizzard employee, by the way. Just had to mention that. Cannot go 10 seconds without mentioning it. Never mentions it, guys. Cannot go an entirety of the next 1 hour without mentioning that his dad worked at Blizzard and he worked at Blizzard. But he doesn't mention it, guys.
Single person is absurd at best, and if you're calling for death and cancellation over it, you're too invested in this content in a very unhealthy way. If you're a creator engaging in this kind of behavior, then eventually your content wave will end, but the relationships you've sullied will be permanent. Hope it was worth it for you. To those trying to defend me, don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Do not attack anyone else on my behalf. I've always hated that kind of behavior. I have no intention of stopping making things or not doing stuff as I have already been. Those who are banned will stay so. I've never liked that kind of knee-jerk reaction behavior in our community before, and I will not be changing that now. For those that don't understand why they will stay banned, we had a 10-hour-long hate raid over it live on Twitch. We had to ban nearly 4,000 accounts across all platforms, and our moderators received...
That's just nonsense. People hated your World of Warcraft attitude so much off the initial base that you had to ban 4,000 accounts. Man, I don't think Hassan has had to ban 4,000 people in the entirety of his stream career. And you're saying you had to ban 4,000 accounts in one freaking VOD. You're an idiot, man.
Death threats regularly throughout it all. People called for me to be killed both in-game and out of game.
And that's always another thing that these guys gravitate towards, especially narcissistic live streamers, YouTubers. They immediately go with, I did something bad and I got death threats from it. They wanted me to splank myself. Okay. Gotcha, man. Real sorry that happened, bro.
They tried to get me banned from Twitch, the guild, and WoW. They tried to make disparaging comments about our ferret rescue or that we somehow hurt animals. They tried to spread rumors saying I was convicted of felonies and many other things. The internet hate machine will not defeat me or the community that supports me. See you in WoW Hardcore tomorrow. So this was posted on January 13th, 2025. And while he did admit that everyone in the group made mistakes, including himself, it truly didn't feel genuine. It seemed like it was absolutely impossible for him to just say, I'm sorry, I misplayed. He just couldn't do it.
One sec. You're going to see the thing again. Bada bing, bada bo. Bada bing, bada bo. Dunsy onesie.
Someone pointed that out, saying, where's the I messed up? And Pirate Software said, apparently you have no idea how to read, hope this helps, highlighting the paragraph in which he said, each person in this group made mistakes, including myself. Again, it was...
Also, I hate the verbiage that people still do of hope this helps. I hate that so much. Anytime someone over-explains or mansplains to you and always says, hope this helps, usually followed by an infuriating exclamation point. Can we, like, let that die in 2025, please? Not carry that through in 2026. I hate that kind of rhetoric online. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.
Worded in a disingenuous way. He just couldn't take individual accountability here, no matter what. The top comment was a WoW streamer known by Joker D saying, just take the L, it's not that hard, to which Pirate Software said, hope this was worth it for you.
Hope what was worth it for me, bro? You made this overly long twit-longer about how you did nothing wrong. Someone from the guild was like, bro, just take the L. And you were like, hope this was worth it for you. Brother, shut up. As much as I dislike Hassan and how he basically exports his views, his personal views is what I'm talking about. The man does get butthurt, but he's not going to play a game like that. Hope this was worth it for you. Dude, you're in the public eye at minimum. Not saying you should get threats or anything, but this is someone from your own guild. Hope this was worth it for you? And shut up. Annoying guy on the D&D table. That's all I'm saying. Imagine that annoying guy at the D&D table again. Imagine that he gets called out. You've probably encountered that, where someone tries to just gently say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't talk like this anymore, yada, yada, yada. And he makes this overtly long post in the Discord or in the group chat on iPhone, and he ends it with some crap like that. Hope this helps. You respond, and he's like, well, I'm not coming back. Hope it was worth it. What? Then just don't.
So overall, this entire response didn't really help him at all. And even if it did, he would single-handedly...
This guy also, I guess, likes wrestling because he's got on trending tab the OTC, which is, as we all know, the one true God. The original head of the table. I think it's the OTC, right? One true champion. Isn't that what Roman Reigns called himself? I don't know. Maybe it's like Ocho Cinco. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's not. That part of my brain just got a little bit lighted up here. Maybe it's baseball. I have no sure. All right, here we go.
Ruin any progress it might have had in the coming days. He would double down, triple down, quadruple down, quintuple down, and eventually sextuple down, only to call OnlyFans a content guild built on hate.
And a lot of it was from a rogue that was bitching the entire time about every goddamn thing that was going on except for his own play. But
dude, that's literally you. You're projecting. You are the guy that's bitching the whole time without examining your own play style. That is you. You are that guy. You are just projecting. Can I make a game? Yes, you can. You can't. I can make an RPG Maker game tomorrow that's probably better than Heartbound, and I'm not even joking, and we might watch that video while we're here or push it to tomorrow. Let's continue.
Mage is the one at fault because the mage is the hero class, and the mage has to do everything perfectly. Everyone in that played badly. The druid butt-pulled an extra pack on the way out. The tank chose to take us into a bad route through the entirety of the dungeon, pull 2 packs and the boss at the same time. I, as the mage, went into that fight with 40% mana, tried to use my resources, used them poorly, and got myself out when the call was made to run, which, by the way, was made by them as well. Everyone played badly. In fact, the only person who didn't was the healer. And I explained that in the Twitter post, but no one wants to hear that shit because they want it to be a double down, a triple down, a quadruple down. They want to have a villain. They want to have an enemy. They want to fight that shit into the ground. They want to send death threats to people over it because they're goddamn insane. Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate, not a content guild built on experiences. Because they're freaking monsters, dude.
It's just crazy how we got to this point and we're not even halfway through this drama, and all he had to really realistically do was look at the camera and say, you know what? I'm sorry.
That is all any one of these guys has to realistically do. I talk about this all the time. Just say you're sorry and mean it. That is it. You can't do that. That's why you're already a terrible person. I'm sorry, that's a marker of an immature human being. And if you get to the age of 30 plus, you're just a douche if you can't do that yet. Apologize, be self-aware, mean the apology. Be sincere about the apology. Do not try to yes and or this. Just be sincere. No one can do that. That's why they already got into the drama that they're in, and that's why their apologies always suck. PewDiePie had a good apology. No one else did. Not that I can think of at the top of my head. You can maybe say Andrew Callahan, but what he did was a little too far. But at this point, this guy is right. All Pirate Software did was kill a bunch of team members in WoW. The audience at large wouldn't have cared about that, but he dug his heels in, and when you do that, the people that do care find other things that you've dug your heels in. And when they find out things that you've done the same thing at, in context to where your audience is going to care, like making games, being able to code, lying about your like work experience. Those are things that your main audience is going to care about. They might not have cared about the WoW thing, but the people that did care about the WoW thing found these other things, and now the people that didn't care about the WoW thing care about that you did these other things in the same exact way as you did the WoW thing. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's keep playing.
All misplayed, yes, but I screwed up by running away the way I did. I had 2 items that could have restored my mana so I could help the 2 people who died, but I just simply panicked and ran away. And so even though we all misplayed, I just want to say I'm sorry for my play. But no, it was too hard for him. Guys, he worked at Blizzard, and Blizzard employees simply don't make mistakes. That's a given. As Pirate Software was too busy playing the victim, a clip of the streamer Lucari surfaced in which he was doing a dungeon with Pirate Software. You see, Lucari is someone who had never played World of Warcraft up until this point. He was playing a mage just like Pirate, but he was kind of having a hard time keeping up with everything going on. Here's how Pirate treated him. I'm sure you can tell from the title. Pirate Software bullying a totally new player to the game. Pathetic, dude.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Strap in, kids. Because the guy on the stairwell now becomes the German at the top of it. Pirate Software bullying a totally new player to the game. Pathetic. Listen to how this man talks to this guy who is self-admitted to being a new player, but is already at a pretty high level, so knows all the essential concepts. But, you know, in positive gaming circles, you help those kinds of players. I think Final Fantasy XIV as an MMO has been really good at codifying and growing a community that does that. They have a mentorship program to where high-level players that have accomplished a lot in the game have these little tags put on them to where they are called mentors, and they get a little crown next to their character name that is visible to all other players. And as a mentor, their entire job is to answer questions, no matter how small, no matter how quote-unquote stupid, which doesn't exist in a game like that because there's a lot going on. How to be better, how to play better. That's why there's esports around this. That's their whole position. I don't know if WoW has that. I don't know if WoW has it in a server like this where they're running classic and it's a hardcore server. Probably not. But listen to how this god, this man, this ex-Blizzard employee for multiple years talks to this dude who's literally saying, oh, I'm sorry, I'm pretty new at the game. You can show me that if you'd like. Well, just watch this. Watch.
Watch.
You basically have to evocate to get your mana back for the next pull.
Remind me. I sorry, I don't play the game, so I forget. If you remind me, I can help you out. Real quick.
Yeah, Pirates. He literally says, "I don't play the game a lot, but you can remind me. I'd be fine with that. Just remind me to do that, and I'll get better at it." Pirate Software says nothing to that positive effect. But this is what he says around this guy. And another infuriating thing about guys like this, narcissistic guys, toxic guys, fucking even sociopathic managers that some people might have, they will talk around you to other people that they think are at their level about you in front of you. Watch this.
Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the party. You're right, Jen. If only someone else would cast Arcane. If only.
Can't really keep wishing for things that just aren't here, though.
That's true. That's true. Can't wish for the rogue. Can't wish for another mage to cast Arcane.
Yeah.
Brother, may I have some oats? Oh, since we have 2 mages, we could probably poly the ads.
Wait, we have 2 mages. Oh, man.
Yeah, I can poly.
Here I've been the only one casting Arcane in. Incredible.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's wild, right?
God, even reality TV can't recreate such an awkward moment, man. Just ruining the whole vibe.
Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the party. You're right, Jen.
Hey man, I'm new to the game, so if you want me to help with Arcane, just let me know, remind me. Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the game, right, chat? Oh, we have 2 mages. Oh, I didn't know that. All that in the face of a new player who was being nothing but nice, honestly. And yet Pirate Software had the gall to complain about being bullied by other content creators when he was literally doing that to someone as innocent as Lakari.
Yeah, he literally just said he was being bullied by players, goes on to, on stream, on recording, voice activated, bullies a player. And here's the screenshot. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit through the World of Warcraft stuff because we basically covered that portion. But here is a screenshot of the leader of the guild. I believe this is even Soda Popping saying, yeah, I kicked Pirate. He's not in the guild anymore. He's not a part of the alliance. He was making people uncomfortable. He had a lot of drama surrounding him. Even though some of you may have not felt that same way, most of us did. And then after seeing some clips today of him quadrupling down or whatever number we're at with him at this point, I'm making the right decision. I feel bad, but, you know, let's let this slide and move on. So he got kicked from his own guild. Now he's slowly starting to turn into what we know as a lol cow, someone that's laughed at for who they are and the actions they make, but don't have a self-awareness for it. So they just invite more and more. We're talking Boogie. We're talking Dark Side Phil. This is the beginning of the end, so we'll skip ahead a little bit.
Apologize, man. But he just couldn't.
All you need to do is apologize.
Doing was maybe one of the cringiest things in this entire video. I genuinely can't believe that someone in his 30s said this, but I mean, watch this yourself. You'll know what I mean.
I didn't get this deep. Stop feeding into it. All of the accounts that are messaging me are getting reported. There's a funny fact about this. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. There's a whole lot of other people there that still know me. And all of these reports are going directly to them. They're well aware of the situation, and everybody who's messaging me, they're going to get read.
The situation. This guy literally did the, I worked at Blizzard. I've got friends at Blizzard. Anytime someone sends me a mean message, I'm sending it directly to Blizzard. I'm not hitting the report button, guys. I might be, but all those reports are being seen by my friends at Blizzard. So, you know, just go ahead. Keep messaging me mean things, and the administration will handle it. Like the cops are going to show at your door because you private message Pirate Software that he sucks.
It's kind of a dumbass thing to do, and I can't wait for all of them to get banned. Yep.
Yeah, so all you guys whispering me right now with these threats, well, guess what? My dad works at Nintendo, and I'm...
Yep, that's essentially what it was. So we've got the World of Warcraft stuff down. There's this thing about where he's been, like, false copy striking channels that have talked about him, made, like, videos about him.
Blizzard, the guy...
Even like Joker D, who came, if you saw earlier, into his twit longer and said, just take the L. He got a video taken down by Pirate Software for an improper copy strike because he knows that system is broken.
Probably made fucking coffee for some devs. I don't even believe for a second.
So out of all the streamers in OnlyFans, Joker D probably went the hardest on Pirate Software. He took segments of this rant and uploaded it as a YouTube video. That YouTube video would then be removed due to a violation of community guidelines, and the person who striked it cited the reason as being harassment and cyberbullying. One could only guess who took this video down. I mean, seriously. Joker D would never reveal the name of the brand or whatever that was behind this, but seeing that the video had gotten brigaded by Pirate Software's community, for many, it was safe to say that Pirate Software was the one who took this video down because he simply didn't like it, abusing the copy strike system on YouTube. Seeing that Pokemon had done this in the past back in 2020, getting an amazing community reaction, and of course we can't forget about Alinity doing this as well back in 2018. Wow, I'm old.
I'm gonna copy strike this guy.
Yeah, Alinity got absolutely dumpstered when she did that because PewDiePie made like 30 videos and made a meme out of her. Yeah, I think there was like one PewDiePie video where he said Alinity not that great, and she immediately copy striked him on YouTube, and like talked about how like her multi-channel management team, you know, automatically copy strikes any videos that are disparaging her, and like bragged about it. That didn't go well.
I mean, it was genius. It worked so well for every content creator who had done that prior. So obviously, this was the play. Congratulations. You know, it's so fascinating to me how the internet works sometimes. Someone could mind their own business for months, for years, for decades. But as soon as they do something that makes them so incredibly unlikable, the internet starts seeing a big red target on your back and they strike. Pirate Software had a talent of building up a huge, loyal community in just a span of a couple of months. When January 2025 came by, though, he proved to us that he had another talent, building up a massive community of very loyal haters. These incidents that we just talked about had ensured that. This is when those very same haters would start scrutinizing every single aspect of Pirate Software, both as a brand and as a person.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said earlier. This is exactly what he's talking about. He grew a hater base on a story, an element that his main audience would not care about, which is World of Warcraft. But then that hater base found all these other things about Pirate Software that those people did care about. And here we go.
2024, and there were earlier instances too. This is normal. When you get famous, when you take over the algorithm the way he did, some people will naturally get fatigued from you. I mean, you might not believe this, but even someone like Queso has haters, purely because he's a massive content creator, no pun intended. Some of these early haters of Pirate Software would start making videos talking about his past. About how, for example, he wasn't the game developer he was making himself out to be, especially with his Blizzard experience. About how he used to go by the name of Moldavius Fig Tree and was a well-renowned furry in Second Life and EVE Online. But those videos would never get enough traction to actually...
Yeah, he also sold like not safe for work furry models on Second Life. And his fursona is a very over-sexualized ferret. But also he has a ferret rescue charity. Think of that what you will.
Matter. As you can see, this video right here with the title...
I'm not saying furries are bad. Far from it. I'm saying think of that what you will.
Pirate Software, the streamer...
Knowing what you know.
...who faked his game dev career, had reached almost 100,000 views. From the like and dislike ratio, we can see how Pirate Software had somehow, either directly or indirectly, sent his community to brigade this video, and just like Joker D's video, it was taken down by abusing the copy strike system and inciting harassment and cyberbullying. So essentially, if you were an early hater of Pirate Software, if you had something to say, well, chances are no one heard you. This is how for a long time he was able to sweep all the hate, feedback, and criticism under the rug. Except this time, after all the events that we just saw unfold, he had way too many eyes examining his every move, and he couldn't just sweep criticism under the rug anymore. For example, around the end of January 2025, Pirate Software had DMCA'd an indie game and threatened to sue its developer. Why? Well, the developer shows us the main reason why Pirate Software wanted the game taken down. Here it is. It's this roach wearing the same wizard hat that he was wearing during World of Warcraft, while mimicking some of the things that he was saying. Watch.
As much as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
This whole game got DMCA'd because of this. I mean, this is how sensitive he is. And now many people were made aware of this. He couldn't just copy strike or DMCA just about anyone, because every time he did, he spawned more haters. His strategy was now outdated. Everyone was made aware of what had happened to this indie game. And speaking of indie games, there was renewed scrutiny over Pirate Software's indie game called Heartbound, with many wondering why it's been in early access since 2018.
This is good. He's got a game on Steam called Heartbound. They're going to probably dive in the code. The code is terrible. He can't code on like a basic level. It performs horribly, but the only way that it performs any sort of well is because as bad as it performs in the background, the game is like, you know, not even close to like Undertale in terms of its graphical use, let's say. So he gets away with it, but This is good.
No release date in sight.
And we'll probably finish this video and the stream, and then we'll dive into his wonderful game tomorrow.
Give it 3 more years, it'll be a decade. Some people were comparing him to Yandere Dev, a very well-established lolcow who hadn't released his game in over a decade. And when people actually analyzed its code, they found some of the worst written code known to mankind. Seeing all this scrutiny and criticism catch up to his own game development must have hit one hell of a nerve, because very shortly after he announced that Heartbound would start receiving monthly updates, and all it took was people going there and reviewing it negatively. He was hoping that this would steer off the criticism and the scrutiny, and that things would eventually finally go back to normal, but the haters weren't really done just yet. People were putting into question his entire identity, the fact that he worked at Blizzard for 7 years, but worked what exactly? As well as him claiming that he was one hell of a hacker who had gone to the yearly hacking conference, DEF CON, and won some pretty important events.
There's some great stuff at DEF CON. There's been some incredible talks at DEF CON. DEF CON is just like a hacking convention, essentially, where you learn new technologies, you hear from famous hackers. There's been some incredible speakers there. So for him to be at DEF CON and having won awards because of his popularity, or even not because of his popularity, is insane when you find out what he actually did in his life.
There.
And how he can code. And what actual hacking he did, which was none.
With the help of his team that he never,
as far as anyone can tell,
mentioned, of course. Always taking credit for this by himself. I mean, at some point he was invited to a podcast called Dropped Frames. This was a clip from it, and here's the title: Pirate Software on how he became a hacker for the government. These were the stories that he was telling people. Watch this.
You're a hacker. Like that's where you like kind of started.
Actual hacker.
An actual hacker. Like,
Yes,
not like I'm a hacker type. No, you're an actual hacker. You won.
Like an actual hacker.
Yeah,
My last job was hacking power plants for the federal government. I worked for the United States Department of Energy.
So a dude walks in with a laptop and a suit, and you lean over to, who's that guy?
Well, that's the hacker from the government.
Yeah, that's the hacker.
It's even worse. We go in like 3 to 4 man teams, man. So like we've got a team. Of
You had a fleet.
Like
you had like a team of dudes in suits
It wasn't just
holding
me.
laptops, walking into restricted areas. Okay.
When he says things like this, what he's trying to paint in your mind as a viewer is that he's some sort of Unit 8200 Mossad agent writing zero-day exploits on USBs that are snuck into Iranian nuclear facilities and that infest and shut down the entire technical operation of that nuclear power plant. When in reality, if you look at his LinkedIn and reconcile it against his skill set, what he did was social engineering. He wrote phishing emails and tried to gain access to credentials. And
yeah, he probably did the same thing for, if he did even work for the United States government, which is a little, that's a faulty story. If he even did that, he did the same thing that he did at Blizzard. He sent government employees phishing emails. And he's acting like he hacked power. He literally hacked power plants. He shut down entire cities, watchdog style. And said, "Give me money, please." Sorry, he said, "Give me money, please."
User systems that way.
So Coding Jesus said it best. Pirate Software's entire identity was slowly starting to unravel right before our very eyes. From the shorts that made him go viral, to the stories he used to say on stream, to quite literally everything about him was nothing more than either an exaggeration or him trying as best as possible to sugarcoat reality. We can very clearly see on his LinkedIn that first off, he didn't work at Blizzard for 7 years, it was actually 6 years, 6 months, and that his initial roles were him being in quality assurance. For the first
QA. He was in QA for like 4 or 5 of the 7 years he worked at Blizzard, and then he sent emails. Dude acted like he was promoted to like lead game developer, production designing lead writer. Stop it, man. You did QA. I think a lot of QA these days are like third party even. I know playtesters certainly probably are.
4 years at Blizzard, so the
just annoying.
majority of his time there, he was in an entry-level role, eventually being promoted multiple times and finishing off as a senior red team specialist. In his own description of the job, he said, infiltrated and exploited physical access controls, managed social engineering operations to improve employee awareness and
Yeah, infiltrated and exploited physical access controls, meaning he looked for sticky notes with passwords at people's cubicles. Managed social engineering operations to improve employee awareness and resilience. He sent phishing emails. created, launched, and managed a global web application bounty program. Probably an automated way to send phishing emails or identify people that have fallen into the traps of phishing emails. That, or he improved upon some sort of like internal facing CRM, like Flapjacks or whatever the hell it's called.
Resilience, and finally created, launched, and managed a global web application bounty program. As Coding Jesus said, this guy would literally just send phishing emails, make phone calls, try to pretend to be an outsider in order to have employees make mistakes so that they can improve internal protocols. I mean, it's an important job, that's for sure. But even on his LinkedIn, he would make claims that he worked on all these different games. I mean, yeah, indirectly, but none of your code made it to the game. You didn't model, you didn't texture, and you sure as hell didn't animate. You just so happened to work on internal projects in parallel to these games. And yet, every time someone would mention something about games, about the video game industry, about whatever, he would always start off by saying, I worked 7 years at Blizzard, actually, so I know what I'm talking about.
Incredible impression.
In reality, no, you have more experience as
I'm still getting over the flu.
Indie developer than you ever had as a developer at a AAA company, and that's the truth. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that he made this such an important and integral part of his personality that it felt like a massive betrayal. But that's not all. His dad was Joey Ray Hall. This picture right here is of
his dad's a literal legend in the gaming space. He's probably one of the most important cinematic and video production heads in like gaming history. So Nepo baby. Don't call him that though. He doesn't like it. But Nepo baby.
People. And if you don't know who they are, these people happen to be the original founders of Blizzard Entertainment. Yes, these guys are legends in every sense of the word. And the guy in the middle is none other than Jason Thorhall's father. He later became the director of cinematics at Blizzard, which is probably the only thing that Blizzard has been consistently good at for the last 20 years. He was also the inspiration behind this guy in South Park from the famous World of Warcraft episode. I mean, this guy was a legend in every sense of the word. And so Mashable.com, when they made this article about Pirate Software titled How Streamer Pirate Software Gained Nearly 2 million subs in 6 months, they just had to mention the fact that he's a Nepo baby, saying when he was 16, he landed a dream job as a game tester at Blizzard Entertainment, which before the bloated loot boxes and corporate acquisition by Microsoft for $68.7 billion was considered one of the most respected companies in the video game industry. It helped that he was a Nepo baby, since his dad, Joey Ray Hall, had spent over 2 decades at the industry titan since almost the very beginning. Now, of course, after 6 months, he would leave because he felt that the corporate life wasn't for him, and many years later would reapply by himself without the help of his dad, landing a QA role, which I believe, because if he had the help of his dad, no way he would end up in an entry-level position. But still, just them including this sentence, calling him a Nepo baby, truly triggered him beyond belief. I mean, look at what he had to say.
Yeah, really not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. It's just, it's one of those things that I've been trying to fight my entire career. It's one of the things that I've had to...
Then stop mentioning that your dad worked at Blizzard and you're a second-generation Blizzard employee. I bet he's going to bring that up right now.
Argue with people in chat about. It's one of the things that we ban people for here. Anytime people say shit like that, because it's deeply disrespectful and it completely overwrites any of the things that I've done throughout my career as something that is somebody else's success, which they have not been in any possible way. And it's
a little
just,
hatred at your dad, huh, buddy? Since a little disparaging remark.
So, what do you say? In the thing, he said it was he called me a Nepo baby. In his article. No, that's dog shit behavior. Really gross. In any case, let's go find somebody to raid.
I mean, you heard him, right? He would ban people in chat if they called him a Nepo baby. It's the easiest way to trigger him. And yet, at the same time, the same guy who's acting triggered over being called Nepo baby said this multiple times on his stream.
Yeah, you were the one that brought it up constantly, that you were a second-generation Blizzard employee. Second generation, first of my kind, second generation, which doesn't even sound right anyway. Like, sincerely, there wasn't like a guy in IT whose son came on board? Are we dead serious? Doth protest too much while scratching Doth's own butthole.
Watch.
So I'm second generation Blizzard. I'm the first second generation Blizzard employee.
Here it is.
That ever existed.
Here we go.
I'm also a second generation Blizzard employee. I was a second generation Blizzard employee. I was the first the first second-generation Blizzard employee ever. I was the first second-generation Blizzard employee. And I love that shit. I love that company. Working for Blizzard sucked.
Again, a lol cow is someone who is unintentionally hilarious when being 100% serious, and I just can't stop laughing at this guy. I mean, seriously? I was the first second-generation Blizzard employee? What is this, the Chinese dynasty? Like, what are you even talking about? And let's be real here, the only reason you were the first second-generation Blizzard employee was purely because of your dad.
Yeah, purely because of your dad. You even admit it. I mean, your dad was like employee number 8. It's like Steve Jobs' son working at Apple. It's like, man, Kevin Jobs, dude. Wonder where he came from.
Because back then, they didn't even have a recruiting team. You were just the easiest hire. And I think one thing he has to understand is that being a Nepo baby isn't a bad thing. I think most people, if they had a dad or a mom who worked a really cool job...
Yeah, I mean, look at Jack Quaid. Incredible Nepo. Oh, here he's right there. I'm calling everything that's in this video. All right. Let's move ahead a little bit to what looks like him cheating at video games. Him lying about looking up walkthroughs on video games.
Like a genius, no matter what. According to him, geniuses never apologize. Geniuses never admit fault. But they also never make mistakes and always, no matter what, figure things out on stream. This is something that became painfully obvious when he would play some pretty hard puzzle games and would figure out some of the hardest things all by himself miraculously after looking at his phone, playing it off like it was some genius eureka moment. Outer Wilds is a critically acclaimed, story-rich space exploration game that just so happens to have some pretty complex puzzles. Pirate Software would play this game on stream, and he would proceed to solve these puzzles all by himself, miraculously, and more specifically, after looking at his phone. In the VOD of his gameplay, around 8 hours and 7 minutes, he gets stuck in an area and he needs to get out somehow. This is one of the many puzzles in this game. Now he would struggle to find the solution, deliberate with his chat, talk a bunch, and then at around the 8:20 mark, he would pull out his phone right here and continue talking to chat. This goes on for 2 minutes in which he deliberates while very clearly looking at his phone. And then eventually, at around the 8-hour, 22-minute mark, he would get a eureka moment.
Maybe it's not with the scanner. Maybe there's a different way. Maybe it's not the scanner at all. Maybe it's the
After looking down and to the right, or at least to his left, the entire time, all of a sudden he pops his head back up and he's like, maybe it's another scanner. Something that no one would be able to guess in a normal situation. As in, tons of people have played this game. None of them got that right off the bat like he did. But he's a genius, guys.
Maybe the fact that we were able to just...
That's how he got it. He's a genius.
The surface like that was the point. Oh.
Like, he's literally looking down. You think he's deep in contemplation? He's looking up a walkthrough. Ugh, come on.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Look, he's looking down, and then all of a sudden...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I wish I could laugh normally, but this dang flu. Oh. What an idiot. What an idiot, man. What an idiot. Look at this idiot.
I have an idea.
Guys, wait a minute. Oh my god, I have an idea. Guys, oh my god. This just came out of nowhere. My brain just works differently. Did I mention that I worked 7 years at Blizzard? This would spread like wildfire on Reddit. This guy is faking his Outer Wilds run in order to appear to be a genius to his community. That's crazy. It's so ridiculous you can't even believe it. But as I already mentioned, he was facing increased scrutiny. He normally would have been able to get away with this, and he did get away with this in other games. It's just that now things were different. When questioned about cheating in Outer Wilds, this is what he had to say.
Why did you cheat in Outer Wilds? What? How the hell would you cheat in that game? Bro, we played it all live on stream. All right, bud. It's a wild-ass thing to say.
Yes, how would you cheat while live streaming this as he stares into his phone for 2 straight minutes? You're absolutely right. The real controversy would be when he would play the game Animal Well that released on May 2024. You see, he played this game before the World of Warcraft controversy and before the increased scrutiny. But after he had embarrassed himself in Outer Wilds and World of Warcraft, people thought to go back and check his gameplay because they thought, wait, now that I think about it, this was kind of suspicious. And the evidence here was damning. It was simply undeniable. You see, Animal Well is a puzzle game, but not just any puzzle game. It has many puzzles and many secrets that are very easy to miss if you don't take your time analyzing.
Yet again, we're at a puzzle game where he shouldn't know anything, and he apparently knows everything.
Every aspect of it. When the game first came out, you had people on Reddit and in forums trying to work
breaking the
together
fourth
in
wall
order to find all of its secrets and puzzles. One of those puzzles was the Wingding puzzle. This took the entire community over a week of teamwork in order to find the solution. This was a group effort in every way, and no one person could have solved it by themselves. The guide came out on May 19th, 2024, and it just so happens that Pirate Software miraculously, all by himself on stream, solved this puzzle on May 19th.
The same day. And you're like, this is petty. Well, what if I told you that voice that he has? Not even real.
In which he sounded completely different than how he sounds today, leading many to believe that he's either faking his voice or simply using a voice changer on his microphone. Listen to this.
Show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic-Con, and there's so many people, and they love the games, so it's been awesome.
So speaking,
I bet you, and this is when Heartbound was out. I mean, Heartbound's taken 8 years, but like, he says he's gone through second puberty. I could isolate the voice in this and probably deepen it to the same level he's got right now in like a few minutes on Adobe Audition. So what have we learned so far? Let top level players in a hardcore server die in WoW, excuse himself from it while we saw him literally jump into a loading screen while everyone was still in the instance. He improperly copyright stroke off, improperly copyright striked channels that talked about him, said that he was sending all of the messages he was getting directly to Blizzard employees that he knew because he worked at Blizzard guys, but he never talks about Blizzard, but he worked at Blizzard guys. Got mad that he was called a Nepo baby, even though he constantly talks about how he's directly a descendant in terms of working at Blizzard, is a second generation employee at Blizzard. Lies about his work, makes himself to be this large-scale hacker when he sends phishing emails legitimately. That was broken down by an actual person that actually does hacking. Multiple people, actually. Lies about being a genius to the point where, and you can see the blankets of narcissism that this man shades himself with. Lies about how he solves these puzzles, and all of this is petty stuff. But once you drape yourself in protection, projection, and narcissism, you're a lol cow. It makes people hate harder and search harder, because the more you deflect, the more they're going to be like, okay, buddy, hold on. Bye, bud. Okay, buddy, I'll find something else, and then I'll find something else, and then I'll find something else. This guy's not evil. He's annoying. And when you're a public figure that purports himself and got popular off of being some kind of well-versed and intellectual at his craft, yeah, it starts to get a little disingenuous to the point of hatred by a viewing audience.
The pressure was getting to Pirate Software. Not only was his game getting scrutinized, not only was his past out in the open, but people were criticizing his gameplay, the way he played games, and even his voice. Things were getting out of control. Okay, look, if you're not convinced yet, here's a more recent clip of him playing Animal Well. This was around a year ago, back in 2024. Look.
I don't know what that gives me, though. I don't know what is that supposed to do? How am I going to fit that shit in there? Oh, god damn it.
Did you see? Yeah, did you see the voice modulation mess up? And then he immediately, you could do like a behavioral analyst reacts to this. You see, he notices, and then he diverts.
What is that supposed to do? How am I going to fit that shit?
You see, you heard it right there. That little.
I don't know what is that supposed to do? How am I going to fit that shit in there? Oh, god damn it.
To some people, this was his voice changer.
That was proof.
glitching. To others, this was him mistakenly getting too comfortable with his real voice. What does Pirate Software have to say about this? Well, apparently, according to his doctor, his voice went through a second puberty in his 30s. That's right. Apparently, your balls can drop twice, but I could only...
Yeah, he said he went through second puberty. Skipping ahead, he talks to a therapist. You can look up this clip yourself, but I'll give you one little instance of it. He talks to like this online psychologist. I think he goes by Healthy Gamer GG. And he's basically like a live streaming psychologist. People have issues with that. People brought that up in the Shane Dawson documentary on Jake Paul. But it looks like this guy does pretty good work and doesn't extend beyond the boundaries of like conversational diagnoses. And obviously he's not diagnosing. He's just there to listen and give feedback as a professional psychologist. He's not going any farther than that. I can respect that. Here's what he says.
Obvious narcissist without having him rage quit the call while still trying his best to give him a reality check.
Yeah, like he, as a psychologist, he's well versed in this thing that he can do, which is basically, I'm leading into self-discovery. I'm leading you into self-discovery without triggering that sort of either narcissism, self-obsession, sociopath, whatever that will make you run away from me. I'm leading you I'm breadcrumbing you to a self-realization without igniting the ego and id of your brain.
I'll tell you right now, regardless of what you might think about Dr. K, I think this stream truly shows his incredible skill in being able to converse with such an obvious narcissist without having him rage quit the call while still trying his best to give him a reality check. And for you to understand that, I want you to watch this clip.
For this shit right now is like, they come in and they're like, did you know that he worked at Blizzard for 7 years? Like, yeah, that was my career. And I'm proud of that. So of course I'm going to talk about that because it gives context to talk about other things around the games industry, which is what we do on the stream.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes the things that I talk about in regards to those types of things is misconstrued as arrogance or boasting, when in reality I'm just trying to give context.
Yeah.
So that is...
Yeah, he's about to say it, but that right there, I've already mentioned this earlier on his twitlonger about that guild happening and him getting all his players killed in WoW because he didn't care. He over-explained. He always constantly deflects by saying people are misinterpreting the situation or they don't have enough knowledge and or intelligence to understand it, and then explains it more. Look at what he just said and look at how the psychologist is going to respond to it.
The problem right there. So I want you to listen to this phrase.
Sure.
This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the most arrogant statement on the planet, bro. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Okay. I don't see it that way, but all right.
God, it must be so hard talking.
I don't see it that way, but all right. You guys know people that have talked like that. I don't get it, but all right. Anyone that ends a sentence with disparaging or deflecting remark and then but all right, fuck them. So let's round this off. You don't need to know any more context than that. The final nail in the coffin. We've covered everything. We've covered he lies. He cheats. He deflects. He's a narcissist. He aggrandizes himself and his experiences. He doesn't acknowledge why he got to that experience at the beginning. Or at the beginning. Doesn't want to acknowledge it. Jack Quaid acknowledges it. He does not. Lies about puzzles. Lies about being intelligent. Fakes gameplay. On and on and on. And now we get to the last bit as we round up this stream.
Stop Killing Games is an initiative launched by Ross Scott in the European Union and the United Kingdom. It was meant to be a direct answer to what happened with the game The Crew, made by Ubisoft. At the end of December 2023, Ubisoft all of a sudden announced that The Crew would no longer be purchasable and that its servers would be going down on March 31st, 2024. Seeing that this was a live service game, this meant that after March, you'd never be able to play this game ever again. The salt in the wound, though, was that barely a couple weeks after the servers went offline, Ubisoft revoked The Crew from people who had bought it digitally.
This is setting the stage for something that's called Stop Killing Games. Stop Killing Games is going after game publishers that either offer light live service or DRM protected softwares, and I could probably be wrong at this, so go ahead and Google Stop Killing Games and support them directly, because it's a great initiative that is now in front of the EU for review. But it's basically an initiative that says you can't take away games just because you want to stop supporting them. I bought a game, I want to be able to play the game. Now that games don't come on disc, and a lot of them are coming right off the server, played through the server, connected through the server, you need internet for the server. If that server goes down or is taken out to allocate to other games, you don't get to play the game anymore. And we're not talking about Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is an online game. We're talking about games that have an online aspect that is not all of the game. What? This is what Pirate Software had to say about this. After this context goes through, they'll dive into it.
A message saying, you no longer have access to this game. Why not check the store to pursue your adventures? To many, this was an outrage. It essentially meant that you never owned your games to begin with. Ubisoft can just take them away. This also more recently happened with Concord. It barely came out for a week and then the servers were offline. If you bought the disc copy, you were played like an idiot. The Stop Killing Games initiative argued that it wasn't really legal. It was very weird for live service games to just shut down like that without giving players an alternative. With Ross Scott on his YouTube channel saying that games as a
like games like the Avengers. The Avengers game is almost entirely a single player game experience. Or at least it has a large aspect of it. There's like a campaign. That's the game. And if that game goes away, or like they decide not to support that game anymore, you don't get to play that game anymore. And it's not like constantly updated content is what you need. What you need is to be able to just, I want to start the game over. Or, I'm a new player. I missed out on the Avengers game. I want to play that game. You should be able to play that game up to and including the end of their support. Because support for a game like a live service game is just continuing content. Live service games are almost entirely near single-player experiences that get consistent updates of content. It is not World of Warcraft, where it is the primary source. You are playing on a server. It is a game that downloads new content from the server and is lightly connected to it to verify that new content, load that new content, etc., etc. Live service games are just long-term games. Games they want you to continuously buy into. Because they make a lot more money that way, because you're constantly buying little updates, rather than them selling you one game, not making a lot of revenue for a while until they make game 2. No, they just keep piling it on. You buy a little bit, and they have microtransactions. They don't want to support that game anymore. You don't get to play that game anymore. And those games are not multiplayer games for the most part. Like, come on. Like, Death Stranding has a live service element only for the fact that they have like online events in your single player world. You can participate in these connective experiences with other players. You don't even see them half the time. Or like, what about Elden Ring or Dark Souls, where it has a online connective part of it, but is not the whole game. Think of that plus a little bit more, and then they take the game away from you. That's what this is.
Service is fraud. One thing to note is that this initiative wasn't forcing publishers or developers to keep game servers online forever. What it simply wanted was to have a way to access these games after the servers went offline, by allowing players to host their own servers, for example. Arguing that if taking games down like this would become the norm, then way too many games would become lost media, because that's what the Crew and Concord are right now. They're essentially lost media. It was classified as a European Citizens Initiative, in which European citizens could sign it, and if it would reach 1 million signatures, then it would be talked about in the European Parliament. It would initially get a couple 100,000 signatures until a certain person would speak out against it in the most aggressive way possible. Of course, we're talking about our good old friend, Pirate Software.
Like, look at the screen, the thumbnails that he made for this, and see what he said. Now, as the guy just said, the Stop Killing Games initiative before Pirate Software got involved with his hate train only had like 100,000. I think you need 1 million for it to get in front of the EU Parliament. They have a thing where You create an initiative, it gets a million individual supporters behind it. They will look at it. They will have to look at it, have to review it. It's a good system. It only had like 100,000 before these videos came out from Pirate. Let's see what he said. Let's see what he said.
Felt so passionate about this topic that he made 2 videos about it very shortly after it launched in the summer of 2024. Now look, we're not going to watch the whole video. I just want to show you the first 10 seconds. Let's do this.
Hi, my name is Jason Thor Hall, also known as Pirate Software Online. I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment, then Amazon Game Studios, and now I own my own studio, Pirate Software, by the same name, which is an indie studio, and I've been...
There's just something about this guy, man. I don't know. I can't explain.
It's called Smarmy.
Anyway, he worked at Blizzard Entertainment for around 7 years, guys, and he vehemently opposed every single thing this initiative stood for, arguing that it would kill live service games and kill gaming in general, completely misunderstanding what this initiative was even about, and using his massive influence, which was still present at the time, to kill it instantly. I want to be clear here. In this video, he tries his best to appear level-headed, professional even, echoing the genius that you first saw in his YouTube shorts at the end of 2023. But on his stream, oh my god, this guy was a mess. These are the very nice things he had to say about this initiative. Watch.
Shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No.
I mean, he brought up MS Paint, so he must be right.
Eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This
No, yeah, according to him, this is the worst thing that's ever been made by humanity. Like, this is like, oh my god, you'd think that this is actually going to end gaming as we know it. But it's not. It's seeking to do the opposite.
shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely.
In his very professionally level-headed video, he says this.
It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so their medium doesn't die out.
But that's exactly what Stop Killing Games wants to do. The whole point of this initiative is for this medium to not die by allowing so many games to become lost media. And yet, this is what Pirate Software was saying about this whole thing.
I think live service games getting sunsetted is fine. I've always thought that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, at this point, just no comment. When he would start receiving quite a bit of backlash, of course now there's more dislikes, but when it first released, I'd say 30% of the like to dislike ratio was dislikes. He made this pinned comment, outlining some points that don't really help his very aggressive reaction that came out of nowhere, and then ended it with a quotation saying he won't even talk to Ross, who is the founder of Stop Killing Games. To which he replied with, correct. I think his position is disingenuous due to his comments about how this could be pushed through government. It's a bad direction.
Also, I love this. Louis Rossman, who I love, and Asmongold have much better takes on this and actually try to engage about the issue in a measured way. He said that about Asmongold. Awesome, dude.
Removes validity for what the initiative is trying to do, portrays the process in an incorrect manner, and just builds sensationalism. Thinking that kind of language is okay puts him squarely on my not worth it to talk to list, as there are others that could have a more productive conversation. So what he's talking about is this slide here. This one slide in the entirety of this initiative is the only reason why he refuses to talk to Ross. It says, reasons the European Citizens Initiative could pass. Politicians like easy wins. Politicians mostly don't care about video games. The law is already unclear on this practice. The initiative is in line with other consumer policies. It's a diversion from more serious topics. Now, according to Ross, this was a half-truth, half-joke slide. And I think that's how a normal person would view it. I don't think it was tone-deaf in any way. But it angered the hell out of Pirate Software for some reason. I don't know why. Some people theorize that it's because he got close to Ludwig, and together they founded the games publisher Off-Brand Games. When the Stop Killing Games initiative came out, they were in the process of releasing a live service multiplayer game. So there was definitely some sort of a conflict of interest here. Regardless, this European Citizens Initiative had a one-year deadline. It would be automatically closed on the 31st of July, 2025. And by the end of June, it barely had 500,000 signatures, which meant it had no hope of ever reaching 1 million, or so it seemed. This was until Accursed Farms, the channel owned by Ross Scott, would release a video titled The End of Stop Killing Games. It's an hour-long video that kind of reminds us what this initiative is about, how we got here, the feedback and criticism he's received.
Why is there PVC piping on his wall? It looks like one of those videos that, you know, you buy 10 square foot apartment and includes reinforced steel bars, and reinforced steel bars, and mattress.
The changes he's made, and of course the majority of the video is him responding to Pirate Software's very aggressive criticisms. Most of the clips of Pirate Software crashing out over the Stop Killing Games initiative were actually from this video. Ross addresses every single one and ended up, whether intentional or not, making Pirate Software look like a clown who had no idea what he was talking about. This video almost has 1 million views, and many people watched it. Some of those people happen to be way bigger content creators than Pirate Software, and seeing that this very important initiative was very close to failure, tried their best to bring as many people as possible to sign it. For example, Moist Critical talked about it in his videos at over 3.5 million views. Hell, even Jacksepticeye talked about it on his second channel, and the video's sitting at over 1 million views. People understood that this initiative wasn't just a good thing for video games, it was integral to ensure its survival for the future. Hell, even Minecraft creator Notch had something to say about it, tweeting, "Hey guys, just got back to gaming after a brief break. Wait, why is there a Nepo baby doubling down over there?" Adding, if buying a game is not a purchase, then pirating them is not theft.
And the worst person you know makes a great point. I don't know if Notch has grown as a human being. He was pretty awful to both coworkers and to, you know, LGBT plus individuals, especially the T, once he became a billionaire. But if buying a game is not a purchase, then pirating them is not theft. Generational quote.
This truly solidified the position of Pirate Software in the Hall of Fame of lolcows. It was undeniable at this point. His stupidity had made an entire movement succeed, just purely on the basis of him being so unaware of what was going on. He lacked the most basic form of self-awareness. And thanks to that, the Stop Killing Games initiative not only reached 1 million signatures, but is currently at over 1.3 million in overdrive, about to reach 1.4 million any time now, with the UK petition reaching double the signatures required. He even had a vice president of the European Parliament voicing support for this initiative and signing the petition himself while urging other Europeans to do the same. This initiative gained so much traction that a publisher group full of the biggest publishers on the planet, including EA and Ubisoft for example, responded saying that these proposals would curtail developer choice and that it was unsustainable and unfeasible. In other words, they were very scared that this could actually pass. Being a gamer myself, I wish this initiative the best of luck in Parliament, and I truly hope it passes. When I buy a digital game, I'd like to know that I actually own it and that it won't be taken away from me at any given moment. But while this initiative was gaining a lot of positive attention, Pirate Software, on the other hand, was gaining all the negative attention. He's currently bleeding over 10,000 subscribers daily on his YouTube channel and has currently lost a massive chunk of his viewership on Twitch. I mean, look at these numbers. He used to peak 15,000 concurrent viewers and is now down to 5,000. That's 1/3 of where he used to be 7 months ago. And that's without mentioning all the followers he's been losing. I mean, look at this, minus 50,000 just in July. Additionally, this renewed scrutiny has prompted many YouTubers like Coding Jesus and Slop News Network to analyze the code that he writes on stream, concluding that a child, a literal toddler, can probably...
Yeah, like look at this. Part type sprite, part type size, part type life. No loops, no nothing. No explanations of these numbers. Literally writes out false and true as a full text element. I mean, come on. He's not even linking elements correctly. Look at this. Home bedroom, home hallway, home kitchen, home living room, home yard, home dream. What an idiot.
Do a better job. Seriously, this is the gift that keeps on giving. Because, of course, instead of just apologizing, taking a step back, taking the L for once, admitting you made a mistake, maybe taking some advice that Dr. K gave you, he would triple down or quadruple down, I guess I can't even keep track at this point, and make this post, saying the most interesting narrative is that my video somehow killed the initiative. This graph shows that the initiative already had a downward trend in interest when my videos dropped. My videos do not seem to have had any impact on the movement at all. Making me the villain did though, best of luck with your next steps. So at this point, I can't help but be impressed how much he's willing to die on hills that don't matter. People aren't even tracking cumulative signatures and daily signatures. They just understood that this initiative is worth fighting for. It's very important for the longevity of games as a medium, and that you, with your massive platform, not only criticized it very aggressively, thinking that this was going to be an easy win that made you out to be a genius, but urged all your audience, all your strong community to not sign it when they were telling you to sign it initially. That's how you even found out about the initiative. He would then later tweet this, saying, I am no longer working at off-brand games. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb them. You can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior
This is also false.
is unhinged. Learned a lot there.
No one was mass review bombing them. Literally, they actually got tons of positive reviews during the period that he said that they were mass review bombed. And he's probably going to deflect that by saying, well, I messaged a good friend of mine at Steam because I worked at Blizzard and they took all those reviews down. So really, they didn't last that long, but I had to leave.
Published a lot, hope they succeed regardless, loved those dudes and loved working with them, hope they keep cooking. Ludwig would reply to this, saying stop killing games is a good initiative, but a few bad actors review bombed /
Even he's saying it's a good initiative. He does not want that smoke. He's not even joining his co-founder or whatever his title was, whatever Pirate's title was at this company. He's not even joining that. But he did the few bad actors gig. All right, Ludwig. All right. Ludwig is a cool guy, though.
Harass developers of the game.
No hate towards Ludwig.
We support at off-brand games.
Seriously.
Appreciate Thor stepping down for the betterment of the devs and their games, to which he would get community noted. The note said, Rivals of Either 2 has not been review bombed. Verifying this is as easy as opening the Steam page and looking at the graph of reviews. And if we go to the game, scroll down, and look at the graph that shows review trends, we can very clearly see that there's no review bombing going on. If anything, there's positive bombing. Look at all these positive reviews in June. But hey, anything to be the victim, right?
Anything to be the victim. Whinging.
Breaks YouTube TOS. This breaks every aspect of terms of service when it comes to
Oh, wait,
brigading
hold
and
on.
harassment.
We got to get into this.
In fact, the guy became such a victim that I think he started losing his mind. He started comparing his current situation with the Stop Killing Games initiative to Coney 2012.
Which was about a man that forced literal children to die in war.
I mean, dude, no, I'm sorry.
I mean, that initiative had its own, heavy marketing inexperience and like miscalculation and misinterpretation of the facts to like make people feel good that they put a poster up in their city. But come on now. That was about a general who wanted to become a dictator and killed children, amongst other terrible, horrible things. Yep, you're the same thing.
Sorry.
Totally the same thing, man.
This is a full-fledged, fully developed and evolved lolcow. There's no way you can say this while being
Yep, his
self-aware.
final form.
It's impossible. And after months of complaining about people brigading and harassing him, he does the same exact thing to Coding Jesus. He would leave a comment on his code review video and would then link his comment to his chat so that they can go upvote it in an effort to ratio the video itself. Like, how petty is that? Come on, man.
Do you make a link to it? You have to click on the little 6 hours edited. Aha. So that doesn't seem to do it. Oh, do I have to right click on this and then copy link address and then do that? Is that what does this? Ah, it does highlighted comment. There we go. Boop. There's my comment on it. Enjoy. And I also have a whole argument with a whole bunch.
Enjoy. Hate this guy.
Bunch of people in the replies in there so they can see what's going on with it. I talked to them through the entire thing of why I did that all in an array, because that is not normal practice to do that, and it's specifically...
Yeah, he deleted this VOD because it definitely breaks YouTube's terms of service, and even he's not stupid enough to end the cash cow.
So that you guys can...
He's a law cow, but he wants that money.
Reverse engineer the game and solve the ARG. Sometimes doing bad practice has meaning, which is...
Whatever, man. He later deleted this VOD because this literally breaks YouTube TOS. This breaks every aspect of terms of service when it comes to brigading and harassment. I mean, at this point, can this get any worse? Yes. He'd be asked about his opinion when it comes to Stop Killing Games finally reaching 1 million signatures, and he said, I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that your initiative gets everything that you asked for, but nothing you wanted, and I'll leave it there.
So smarmy. So smarmy.
See, if I was 12 years old, I would have probably thought this was really cool, but now it's just edgy beyond cringe. But listen, as much as this was a ridiculous roller coaster ride on the Lolcow Express, someone did end up asking him, hey man, would you consider making an apology video, setting everything straight? Because you know what? This is still salvageable. You can still redeem yourself. And here's what he had to say.
Put up a video saying you were wrong with every situation and the internet move on. I am not doing that. I don't give a fuck.
You obviously do, by the way you just reacted. You definitely care. And also this giant block of silence.
Yes.
Your brain blocking any sort of self-awareness and self-realization in real time.
Simply bend the knee and lie about how you feel, and everyone will stop bullying you. That's a great idea, dude. Yeah, no.
This guy is so hopeless, man. Now, I will say this because I'm sure this will appear in the comments. Yes, I'm aware that Pirate Software is a massive furry, and I'm also...
I'm not even going to go into this because this is kind of iffy, but, you know, there's some allegations in terms of, you know, grooming fans.
The most delusional Twitch streamer. Look, Pirate Software is a lesson, not just in content creation, but in quite literally...
And here's the finale, boys.
Anything. Normal people make mistakes, and geniuses make mistakes too. We're all human. Admitting that you make a mistake isn't you admitting that you have a weakness. No, on the contrary, never admitting that you're wrong is a weakness in itself because it shows how insecure you are, how fragile of an ego you have, and it'll only make people want to avoid you. I mean, what's the point? Pirate Software is the stupid person's definition of a genius, and he managed to ride that wave for a little while. But now the party's over, and he only has himself to blame. He'll still be a content creator, he'll still have a sizable audience, but he'll never be able to touch the sky like he did at the end of 2023. And they're never coming back unless he finally humbles his dumbass. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the entire video up until the end. I really appreciate it. And also,
all right, guys, go to Mugen, subscribe, watch this for yourself in full. I skip around a lot, I pause a lot, I commentate a lot. I want to be transformative. Watch it yourself. What did we learn today? We learned that Hulk Hogan is an amazing man. Praise Hulk Hogan. We learned that Pirate Software is an amazing man. Neither of them have large egos. Both of them have large egos. I'm dropping the mask. Both of them have large egos. Both of them lie constantly. Are they on the same spectrum of awful? Decidedly not. Decidedly not. Oh my God. Dear God. Hold on one sec, boys. Okay. Decidedly large egos. Both are on different sides of the spectrum of awful, but we covered both of them. And I hope Ric Flair gets better. And I hope all of you do too. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. And I will catch you on the other side of the grave. Bye-bye.